Good evening, everyone, and welcome to I suppose it's the second proper episode of the season of the FPL Pubcast. Joining me tonight, first of all, we have we used to call him the FPL Pubcast Ghost, but I've got to say I'm not sure if we're going to be keeping that title for him because he's been very active in our chat over the summer. It is, of course, the young Roberto Hollis. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, Ghost is no longer. Now I am officially much alive and alive and kicking ahead of the new season. It's I feel like the end of last season, I kind of tuned out a little bit with FPL. I was still playing it, but I wasn't as invested as I am at the start of this season. I'm really excited about this season and going to be here every step of the way on the podcast. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah, Major saying the former Ghost. What's the opposite of a ghost? I'm going to call you the little baby. The little baby. You're no longer dead. You just.
I'll take regular. I'll take regular human. That'll do for me.
Secondly, joining me, our new signing for the season. We have one new signing this summer. We're in pre-season. He did make a few appearances on loan last season, but this is his first full-blown debut. It is, of course, the brilliant FPL Punk. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, really good, mate. Really happy to be here. Can't wait for the new season. I need to be careful in the group chat because I feel like I might become the new Ghost. Like I'm not very active, so I need to start up in my game. Really looking forward to the new season and chatting about footy again.
And I have to give a massive thank you today. We're going to go through all the teams in the Premier League today and do a bit of an FPL analysis. And I have to give massive thanks to Lee, who has put all the slides together for that because it must have taken you a hell of a lot of work, mate.
Yeah, I mean, some of the starting 11s are probably up for debate in terms of what it is, but I've tried to use a variety of sources, and let's just kind of get into it and kind of see how they look.
Trig's already pulled you up before we came live.
I look forward
and of course, the GOAT, my ever-present co-host for the podcast is Trig. Trig, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, good evening all. Good to be back. This could be a long one today, couldn't it? Looking forward to it.
It could be, yeah.
So what team?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to try and do. If we're literally going in, we're getting towards 2 hours or something, and we've only gone through half the teams, we'll do the rest next week. But we've kind of made. I'm going to try and keep the lads to 5 minutes per team and go through it. So yeah, basically what we're going to do in this one is we're literally going to go through every single team, have a look at their fixtures, have a look at the summer signings, have a look at who he thinks on set pieces, penalties. Basically, what do we think of the assets? Who are the main assets of each FPL team? And then towards the end, we're going to have a look at me and Trig's, I guess, revised drafts, and we'll see Punk and I guess Roberto. This will be the first time you've shown your drafts this on the podcast, at least this season. But before we do that, I'll just say hello to people in the chat. We've got Kanji there, who'll be joining me on Saturday with FPL Nightmare, and Darius. We're going to do a lock-in this Saturday. Hello, mate. Not opening my beer until you guys start exactly what I do. Podna, hello, mate. I haven't seen you. First time we've seen you this season. Dan, Joe, FPL Hippie there. Rob Taff, hello, mate. Major, Kevy, Ryan, Claire, Jojo. A lot in early today. So, usual things at the start. If you want to join the Pubcast Mini League, you can do so using the link in the description below or using the code 16HW3D. That's 16HW3D. If you were in the league last season, you should be in it again this season because I've pressed auto rollover, but, do double check. And please like and subscribe and all that stuff if you are new around here and help get the show out there. So before we get on to the teams, in this episode, I'm going to be using this new tool, which is, I believe, the creation of Alex Voller, who, of course, is a friend of the channel. And I'm sure if you're an ex and you're into FPL, you'll probably know his name. So this is Next 11, which it's basically a fantasy football tool, but, obviously mainly going to be used for people watching with FPL, which includes a team planner, advanced stats, preseason data, player comparisons, and other tools. So I'll have a quick look at it. I've been playing around with it the last couple of days. It's really good. So here you've got pre-season stats. Basically, Alex is following. He's putting in some great posts on X. He's following the pre-season very closely. So you can see here how many goals people have scored, how many assists, what their DEFCONs would have been. I think even what they would have scored if it had been an FPL game so far this season. You have got, if I can find the side menu, a picture ticker which we're going to be using during this show. It's very detailed. Got Marcus Rashford here who comes up between. Basically, we've got offensive data for each of the clubs. So it says, like, what are the chances of them scoring? And then we've got defensive data in the fixture ticker as well, which is basically what are the chances of the clean sheets. So it's kind of like Rob T type information in the graphics, which is something I have not seen in a fixture ticker before. You've got your planner. The spoiler here is my team, which has got, you can tell Alex Wallow's involved here because when it loads, it's got some, I've got to load my draft. It's got some very flashy graphics that you can see there of proper players. And then you've got the stats, which obviously at the minute are showing last season, but later on will show, as the season goes through, we'll show all the goals, assists, DEFCONs, etc. for each player. You can compare, I think, up to 4 players. Again, that will be active and have all that data in there when the season has started. You've got team reveals. I'm guessing Alex has got some people involved to do that. Live game week, which will, I'm sure, give information as the game week is going on. And you can compare drafts. So there's loads of good tools in there. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description. And if you use that, you will get a 25% discount. Okay. All right. So let us jump into. By the way, people, do let me know if you can hear a slight echo. I can hear a slight echo as I'm talking, but the other guys can't. So I'm hoping it's only me. But do let us know. Not actually that there's much we can do about it if you can. So let's go into it, lads. So first team we have in our graphic is Arsenal. So as we said, with the predicted starting lineups, this was just Punk's Lee's best guess. So we're not going to go into that. We're mainly going to talk about the set piece takers, who's come in, who's come out, and if we think they're good options. So penalties, we're not sure if it's Gyökeres or Saka. Free kicks and corners shared with Rice and Saka. I think one takes them on one side and one takes them on the other side. And they've stolen Bruno G from us. They've got this, how do I say this name, Trig? Tolzis?
Solis.
It begins with a T.
It's a silent T.
It's not really.
Okay,
it's more like a D, but it's quite hard to pronounce. But
yeah, and
just think of my name, Gary Hollis. Zolis.
Okay. So yeah, who wants to start us off? What are your thoughts on the champions, lads, and the prices? I mean, people have talked about Gabriel a lot, but what about the other players, Trig? Anyone stand out to you from this thing?
I think actually Solis could be interesting for those that are wild carding early before Rice and Co come back. He could be on corners against Coventry. He got an assist already, hasn't he? So he could be quite interesting. But I guess it's Mosquera, White. The problem with all of them is that they'll probably be out the team at some stage when Timber and Saliba come back. Midfield is a bit of a mess, isn't it? We don't really know who to pick from there, really. Don't know if Odegaard's going to play. Rice probably won't. Eza won't. So, yeah, tricky.
See,
Arsenal.
Odegaard's coming up in the latest review team. You know, like the best team. Yeah, I mean, it's not a name that you really associated with FPL from last season, at least. Roberto, your thoughts on Arsenal, mate? And like, are there any players other than maybe Gabriel who may or may not be considering for your draft?
I think it's really interesting because we've had this conversation previously with Arsenal where I think it was definitely last season. I think it might have even been the case the season before in 24-25 where Arsenal were served up some horrendous opening fixtures, especially for defence. And everyone said, just avoid them, get them at a better jumping on point around game week 6, 7. And of course, Arsenal kept clean sheets in those games. It will be a different story this season, though, I believe, because of Gabriel being on his own there without Saliba. So less emphasis on the defence, but we still might want to have one. And then the attack is just a minefield, I think, with Saka coming back from the World Cup and his injury issues. The same thing for Rice. It's hard to know who's going to start in that Coventry game, whether it's going to be Havertz or Gyökeres. So I think we just go very sort of minimal in the Coventry game and then see from there.
So having a look at their fixtures, they're 5th on the ticker in terms of attack, and where are they on defence? 6th on defence. So they've got Coventry, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Sunderland, Brighton. What do you think of their fixtures, Lee?
I think they're okay. I don't think they're as bad as probably what they make out. Like they can keep a clean sheet against anyone. I think that's probably, I mean, the 10 to 15% against Villa away. I think they're higher than that. They're going to keep clean sheets. They've made the team stronger. Team's hard to predict. If Bruno G comes in, is a quality player. Like he only had quality to that whole team anyway. So I think the team, I think the defense and the attack's not great, but I think the defense is still solid.
Gabriel's in my draft at the minute. I think about 25% of managers owned him last week, but he seems to be coming up, doesn't he, Trig? Do you reckon he's going to get in more and more drafts as we get closer to the deadline?
Gabriel?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think he possibly will. I mean, if you're not planning on wildcarding early, you can stick him in, and he's one that you're not going to have to bother having to replace. In theory, he might be overpriced, but really, we've all got plenty of money to get him if we want. So he's in my team at the moment. It depends on Palmer, really. If we don't need Palmer or Saka or players like that, we've got the money for Gabriel. So they're not going to keep up with him, are they, the other ones? He's going to be getting DEFCONs and bullet headers. And so, I'm quite happy having him in there for the time being.
Yeah, and the solves, he's about like 6 points clear of the next predicted points scorer.
If you're not playing an early bench boost, then he's probably the best bet. If you're playing an early bench boost, he's probably the one a lot of people are taking out, isn't he? So they can put more on the bench.
Yeah, I've got a comment there from Adam says it's compulsory on this show to have a mic in your hand on this podcast. I have not got a mic. I don't think you do, Lee, either, do you? So we are micless.
Nowhere to put mine.
Roberto's got his in his hand. Okay, should we move on to the next team, which is Aston Villa. So penalties, Watkins. Free kicks is Buendia. Corners, Cash and McGinn. Of course, they've had a few big names go out this summer, Rodgers and Tielemans, but they've had Manzai, Zambi, is that how you pronounce him? He's quite exciting. He did work quite well last year, didn't he? Did all right in the World Cup as well. And your favourite guy, Nacho, Trig.
Yeah, he could do well, I think, at Villa.
Do you reckon he'll be first choice?
Well, remains to be seen. I mean, no one's buying in game week 1, but I think he could do quite well.
He's an Nottingham.
I think, he probably is.
Yeah.
Who's he replacing? Is it Sancho?
No, Rashford would have played there. Sancho, Rashford.
Yeah, Rashford, Sancho has been there as well, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Am I making that up?
No, they were both there. They were both there, I think, last season.
Not last season. I think that's the season before.
Was it? Oh, yeah, of course. Rashford was at Barca last year, wasn't he? Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, what do you reckon to Villa, Lee, when you were putting this together?
I thought it was quite hard to predict. I mean, like we've seen McGinn play on the wings. Like it could easily be Barkley could come in instead of Manzambi. McGinn could go left wing. It could be Kamara and Gomez as the two like double pivot. Buendia could be on pens. I don't really know much about them. I think they're mostly in a void for the early part of the season. Just kind of see how they bed in. But Emery's still a good manager. Like he's still going to get a tune out of him. They're still going to be a good team. I just don't know who's going to play.
We have a look at their fixtures. What are your thoughts? And Konza is quite and if they lose him, that's going to be a big blow, isn't it, Roberto?
Yeah,
how likely that is.
I do really worry for Villa this season. I think obviously losing Rodgers is the big one. Where how does Watkins fare without Rodgers? Because they've been a nice little double act for a while. Watkins, Watkins is a really weird one because even last season there were times where Emery wasn't actually giving him many minutes. He was actually rotating him a lot. So I'm not 100% sure Watkins has as good of a season as he's had. He's usually been, even in the sort of slightly lower points tallies he's got Watkins, he's still been solid enough that it's been okay over the course of a long period of time. But I'm not so sure that, when we see a lot of the cheap forwards, which we're going to go on and discuss about, whether he's really worth it. And I just don't know where, like Lee was saying, where you'd invest really. We have to, I think, wait and see with Villa because, if Konza leaves, that could be a big blow to their already quite leaky defence. So, I think it's just one to monitor.
Just before we look at the fixtures, I just want to say, if you haven't seen Villa's 17-year-old forward, Brian Maggio, have a look at him. The guy is an absolute unit. 17 years old, 6'4". He's an absolute tank. He's been quite impressive in pre-season as well. I'm not saying he's going to take any minutes away, but just check the guy out. He's a monster.
Yeah, so fixtures: Brighton, Arsenal, Hull, Nottingham Forest, 6. Nottingham Forest, Spurs, Brentford. They're sort of lower mid-table for defensive fixtures. A bit higher in terms of offensive. They're 7th, but probably in the void.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I even worry about their midfield without Tielemans in there. I think that's going to be a real big hole for them to try and sort of fill.
Yeah, it's a shame, really, because they were quite popular at the start of the last season, weren't they? But I remember having Konza for his red card. I think it was against Newcastle in the opening game. Was not really too clean to go back there. So next up, we got Brentford. Penalties, obviously, your GOAT from last season, Trig, Thiago. And then free kicks, Lewis Potter and Jensen, corners, Jensen and Dango. And Trig, I'll come to you as well because we've got some quite interesting signings. The one that stands out to me here is Anthony from Burnley, and this lad that's going around a lot on social media this week, and you covered him in your video the other day, didn't you? Sangara, the DEFCON.
Yep, Sangara. I think Jensen would probably be Damsgaard most of the time, I think, going further forward now that Sangara's turned up. There's a bit of transfer talk about Sade, isn't there? It's been a bit about that. Whether Anthony will go over that side. And Asia, Van der Berg's injured. It's unknown how long for. I mean, if it's a long-term injury, then Asia's going to be really good at 4.5. So they're looking pretty solid. I think that whether Sangara turns out to be good or not, I think he is going to improve them as a team. So defensively, they could be quite good this season. They're doing well.
Asia, I've seen him in a few drafts recently as well. Is he 4.5?
Yeah, he's only 4.5. He's good at DEFCONs as well. So, I mean, a lot of people are starting with him. At some point, he might become an issue. But on the other hand, he might not if he plays well.
Any thoughts on Brentford, Roberto? Have you got your eye on anyone?
It's tricky with Brentford. Again, they were really impressive last season. I mean, and I think they were really unlucky to not get any European football, which for FPL this season does make them more attractive. But the issue I've got with Brentford is a lot of their players, like certainly Thiago, I think it also applies to Kelleher. I worry that they get hit by a little bit of second season syndrome because, they were sort of unknown quantities going into last season, Thiago especially. Now that everyone sort of figures them out and, knows how they play. And I think ultimately a lot of their main flair players have started to sort of fall away from the club now as well. I think Norgard is, whichever way you frame it, obviously he went to Arsenal, but they've never really replaced Norgard. And so Sangari will be an interesting addition to see if he can play that combative role in midfield. And as, a lot of people have been saying, get those DEFCONs similar to Elliot Anderson last season. But yeah, I just think the price for Thiago, when there's lots of really good cheap forwards, and Brentford's fixtures are a bit meh, to be honest, to start off with. So I would wait and see with Brentford, but there'll definitely be a team we come back to later in the season.
Yeah, interesting. I was just looking on this other screen. They're quite low down in the offensive chart. fixture list, but in the defensive one, they're 7th. They've got Spurs, Leeds, Sunderland, Bournemouth, Chelsea. It doesn't look that great on paper. Do you think they? Even for defence, I don't think.
No, I don't even think Thiago offers great value. And like similar to what Roberto said then, I think there's some decent forwards that are cheaper than Thiago. It might be an avoid for me for now, just kind of see how they cope. And similar to what Roberto said again, with that maybe second season syndrome of them doing well last season. And can Thiago get another, what was it, 10, 12 penalties, whatever he got? So
yeah, exactly.
It might be an avoid for me for now.
You're not
quite
tempted
interesting. Quite interesting for DEFCON players, I think, Brentford.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I've seen the defenders being marked up by the solvers.
Some of their 4.5 defenders. So Coyote could be an interesting one if you've got a rotation, and potentially Christopher Ayer. But outside of those two, I'm not sure you'd go anywhere, to be honest.
Have you found many good defensive rotations? I've not really looked into it yet, but I looked into it for goalkeepers for 4.5 keepers. Couldn't really find any nice ones, even just like over the first 6.
Yeah, I've found a couple in my team, but we can get on to talk about that later.
Okay. So next up, we've got Bournemouth. I've got an interesting question for you guys. Yeah, which is this: penalties, Kluivert, Tavernier; free kicks, Kluivert, Tavernier; corners, Tavernier and Scott. Who do we think is on penalties? Because with Croupier out, that's really where it comes down to for me. Any insight on this? I mean, Lee, I'll come to you first, mate. You put the chart together. Did you what any inkling at all?
No, it's toss of a coin. I'd probably back Kluivert, but they've got a new manager. Like he might fancy Tavernier, like he might fancy someone else. I don't really know. Like, could he even give it to the striker? And like some managers like to do that and just give it to the striker just to give him a bit of confidence and get the goals in.
Yeah.
If we had to pick one, then I'd probably pick Kluivert, but I don't know.
100%. 100% Kluivert.
Yeah,
he's fantastic at penalties. If he's on the pitch, it'll be Kluivert.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I think in the past he's been too injured or not match fit, and so that's why Tavernier and Krupi were taking the penalties because of that. He wasn't in the side, and now that he's back fit, we're not 100% sure. I imagine he will start, but when you look at the other options on the pitch, for instance, Tavernier, his penalty taking record is not great. Evan Nilsson's is not good, and then Alvaro Rodriguez, who's the new striker they bought, it seems a bit of a big punt to give him the pens. So yeah, the tried and trusted penalty taker has to be Kluivert, I would guess.
Well, let me come back to you guys with this. Does that then make Tavernier a non-option? He's cheap, 6 million. Punk?
Probably, yeah. I don't think it's worth the risk.
Yeah.
He was quite wasteful at times last season. Like I remember, he had that apps. Like he was incredible for that one game, and XG was through the roof. And I think he got 2 points. I can't remember what game it was, but he's quite a wasteful player. So I think if I picked one out of those, I think I'd only go Kluivert from their attack right now. So, saying that, like I don't mind Ryan as well as a bit of a cheeky punt.
I'm just looking at their fixtures, and they're
terrible. They have the worst.
Rock bottom for offensive, and I imagine it's probably going to be similar for defensive as well. Let's have a quick look. So is that an absolute no-go for you then? I've got 2 of their players in my draft at the minute.
The solvers like Hill and Tavernier still, don't they?
They do, yeah. They do.
Bring Hill in and bench him for game week 1 and after the City game.
Do we not think?
He's going to be good in DEFCONs.
Do we not think Hill was too expensive though? Like for a bit cheaper, you can go Antonio Silva, who they've signed from Benfica, who's a very good player.
Yeah, but he's unknown, isn't he, at the moment? So, I mean, you're only saying that because he's from Portugal, Roberto. So,
well, I've watched a bit of the Portuguese league. I'm just saying he's a quality player.
But he's on the right back, isn't he? Is he a right back?
He's a centre back.
Oh, is he?
See away, Everton home, Newcastle away, Brentford at home, Liverpool at home, Chelsea away. Yeah, that's pretty dire, isn't it?
I think Tavernier is okay, but without penalties, yeah. But how often is Kluivert going to be on the pitch? That's the main thing, isn't it?
I think they may have to take him out of my draft after we finish this.
I don't think he's top tier.
No, he is 6 million. Though. It's not a bad price, is it? Just move on to Brighton. Very popular again. He was popular in the wild card last season. He seems to be popping up in people's drafts again. Penalties, we've got Pascal Gross. Free kicks to Croupier and Gross, and corners Gross. Bit of moving around as well. Welbeck's gone, but however, now how do you pronounce that? Voskovic. And Struijk's come in, who's one of the heroes from our wild card last season, wasn't he, Trig? Van Heck's gone out. Trig, you've got Gross in your draft at the minute, mate, 5.5. I mean, thoughts on him, but also any other Brighton midfielders, because they're in a few people's drafts, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Gross is pretty good. I mean, I think he's come in a bit underpriced because most of the others are all 6 million, but he's just as good as them. And he was annoying a lot of people last year, wasn't he, that didn't own him, because he kept getting all those like little assists all over the place. It was driving people nuts. And so he was actually quite good for us last year. And they got Europe, of course. They've got one game before the season starts, which will give them a bit of extra fitness. So we'll get to have a look at them, which is good. And he's currently in my side. Hopefully he stays in it, and there's no reason we have to take him out, because he's quite a good enabler, isn't he, at that price? The rest of them, I'm not really looking at anybody else from Brighton. Voskovic is interesting. DEFCON monster by the sound of it. So he's going to be, he loves the yellow card though, looking at his history. But he could be very good.
I'll just say, by the way, I'm not really able to look at the chat today because I've got a lot of screens open. So thank you for the moderators and everyone for taking care of that guy earlier. Lee, any outside of Gross, is there anyone you're thinking about from Brighton? I've got Verbruggen at the minute.
I think it's a good price at 4.5. I get PTSD when I think about him. I just think he's such a dodgy goalkeeper. He has a blinding game, and then he just feel like he just has these little lapses in concentration and concedes the worst goal like in like the 96th minute. It's like it's so frustrating to own. I think if you own him, I'd have another goalkeeper just in case. I like Voskovic, like everyone's already said. He's not particularly quick, so it'll be interesting to see how they line up. Like in terms of like have they got that high line? Is he going to get exposed and behind? Dunk's not getting any younger. I like Hinshelwood towards the back end of last season. I've no idea how much he is, but I quite liked him towards the back end of last season.
I believe Hinshelwood is 6 as well.
It's not bad. Welbeck's a big loss to them. I'm not a big fan of Jorginho Rutter as a number 9. I quite like him as a 10, but it'd be interesting to see if they do go in the market and try and sign a number 9.
Yeah, their fixtures. This is the defensive. They're 5th or 4th from bottom. They're a bit higher up on the attack. They've got Villa at home, Chelsea away, Leeds at home is all right, Coventry away, then Arsenal and Sunderland. This is ordered by the first 6 game weeks, by the way. Do you know who my 2 keepers are at the minute, lads?
Verbruggen and Steele.
No, Verbruggen and Petrovic. Third and 4th worst defensive fixtures. You're not
Verbruggen and Steele's quite good. Verbruggen and Steele. Then you don't have to worry because you've got an 8.5 million combo.
Didn't they have another keeper there?
Reserve comes
no, that's the only 2 they've got.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, that might be. I think the reason I've got the 2 triggers because we were talking about last week wanting to keep the possibility of bench boosting open, which you can't with a 4 million, can you? But,
yeah, this is it. I mean, I'm still deciding on that issue myself. Rather
than, I guess the other one, the other option is to bench boost after the wild card, isn't it? We're covered there. So we're all know pretty much on Brighton defence apart from possibly Verbruggen. Roberto?
Well, I don't want to reveal too much, but I'll just say Brighton, I like you.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Trig's team, Chelsea. So penalties, we have got you're not sure. I mean, surely it's Palmer, isn't it? If he's on the field, free kicks. So. Yeah, James Palmer, corners, Enzo Palmer, James. I mean, Trig, I've got to come to you firstly here, mate, and some decent ins as well. Rogers, Lacroix, Palestra. How are you feeling? If you want me to put the other slide up, I've got that on the next slide. If you want me to go to that at any point, mate.
No, this one's fine. This is how I think they're set up. Once the season starts, yeah, very good. They're looking good. Want to see more of Esteval as well, so it's going to be tricky in this formation getting him in there. But hopefully,
he gets video, Trig.
Gameplay.
You did a whole video on Chelsea tactics today, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a video on it this morning. No one's put any comments in. I don't think they like it. They know.
Once this is finished, go and watch Trig's video and tell them how brilliant he is.
Maybe I don't think
Hatto's a good option. I don't look. A lot of people are looking at Hatto, and I don't think he is nailed. They're in the process of signing Chavaria. It's taken a while because they're arguing over the add-ons, but he's going to be coming in. And I don't think Hatto's nailed enough, to be quite honest. I think if you want a defender from Chelsea, Colwell's probably the best one to get because he's going to be the most nailed, him and Lacroix. But Lacroix's, Lacroix's a bit pricey, isn't he? I don't know if Colwell's going to get DEFCONs or not. We didn't really see him last season, did we?
No, it was injured.
Yeah, so it's looking promising for Chelsea. Looking quite promising. We shall see. On paper, they're looking better.
Young Roberto, you had a bit of a. I was seeing I don't keep my eye on the chat always, but I think you may have a little bit of a hard on for a certain Brazilian striker. Is that right?
Oh, you might as well not even bother asking this question, Gary, because you know that I've got one of those for Mr. JP. For my entire life, it will never come down. He is.
You might have to get you use Viagra at some point. But...
yeah, possibly. He is just. He's probably my favourite player in the whole league. I know that obviously him being a Watford former player helps, but even if he wasn't, I'd still think he'd be in the top 4 players that I love watching in the league. He's just brilliant. He's just so good. And I can't believe he's the same starting price as last season. To me, that is just an opportunity that I will not turn down at all. And the fixtures are so good from an attacking point of view for Chelsea. So, yeah, I think he's probably the most locked player in my draft.
He's come out a lot of drafts, hasn't he, Lee? I think when review and review, I don't know about Solio came out. I don't think. I mean, he's high up on there, but he's not quite as high. So he's come out, but he's still not. I'm still guessing he's probably very highly owned in the more casual players. Have you got any thoughts of selling him, Lee? I'm gonna just guess that he's in your draft.
He's in mine, and maybe a bit controversial. I actually don't love him as a number 9. I think he's incredible football, but I think that's what he is. I think he's an incredible footballer and not a great number 9. I would love to see him in one of those number 10 positions. I think he'd really excel. And I can see Roberto wants to get in here and say something, but I think they're crying out for a proper number 9, and whether that's like an Osherman or something like that. I think he'd really excel in one of those number 10 positions. I mean, like he's still. I'm just checking his ownership now. He's just under 55% owned in the whole game, so he's still one of the highest owned players in the game.
It's really interesting you say that, Lee, because when he was at Watford, he played as a 9. When he was at Brighton, he played as the 10 with Welbeck as the 9. And a lot of Brighton fans, I remember Az saying this, that when Welbeck is playing as the 9 and Pedro was as the 10, he thought Pedro played so much better. But having watched him play at Watford, he did play mostly as the 9, but sometimes he was on the wing, on the left. The thing with Pedro, and I think what is why I'm so impressed by him, is you shove him anywhere across that front 3, and he is just so versatile. So he can cut in. He's very good from a sort of dribbling point of view. So he's good at getting to the byline, cutting it back for an on-rushing number 10. But equally, he's very good at his positional awareness, so he can just hang on the back of the defender's arm, just to sort of do the classic striker thing of waiting for a chance like Haaland does. So I think a lot of people's point about Pedro was, well, at the start of last season when Delap came in, everyone was worried about his minutes. Delap's gone, and Chelsea haven't signed another striker, another starting striker, so to speak, because Welbeck is going to be getting minutes off the bench. He's not going to be starting. So, yeah, I just think it's not much has changed since last season, and I think people that think it has are probably overreacting.
Lads, I'm going to push us through a bit for the sake of time. So on the fixture clicker here on Next 11, Chelsea were 5th for defensive. They're 2nd for attacking. Fulham away, Brighton at home, Arsenal at home, and then really good fixtures: Hull, Brentford, Bournemouth. Trig, I'll give you the last word on Chelsea, mate, because you made a video about Palmer. You've gone right off him, haven't you, mate?
Sort of gone off him a little bit. I think we need to see evidence the real Palmer is back, because apart from a very brief spell last season, he hasn't been really great, has he, for well over a year now?
No.
So it's a bit like Foden in that respect. So we really need to see something from him. And so far we haven't. He wasn't that great in the first friendly. Then he picked up this strange little injury for the second one and didn't play. And rumours that there was disciplinary reasons that he didn't play. And so we don't know, really. So with his price and everything, he's the perfect swap from Fernandes in game week 4. So getting him before that doesn't really seem necessary, especially when they're away at Arsenal in game week 3.
Do you know what Palmer reminds you of? It's like, do you know, like if you split up with someone and then you suddenly get back together with them years later, you split up with them because they're really annoying and they really let you down. And then after like a week of being back with them, you're like, oh God, I remember now why I split up with them in the first place. That's a bit like only Palmer. So let's move on to Coventry. This is Coventry, isn't it? So I'm going to get Roberto to talk to most of this because he's our championship expert. So we've got penalties, Wright and Torp. Free kicks, Torp and Van Ewick. Corners, Grimes and Torp. Roberto, you're the man here, mate. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so Coventry are fascinating. So a lot of people are looking at bench boost game week 2, which we'll go on and talk about probably at some stage. I don't agree with an early bench boost at all, because we've seen in previous seasons with promoted defences that the championship season going into the Premier League doesn't always correlate. I'll give an example, right? Watford had an elite defence in 2021. Then in the 21-22 season, we conceded for fun. Sunderland last season had a pretty poor defence in 24-25, only just got through the playoffs. Then Mukiele becomes the highest scoring 4.0 of all time, and Sunderland keep clean sheets. So it doesn't necessarily, of all time, doesn't necessarily correlate. So Coventry got 17 clean sheets last season, and all of that was down to Carl Rushworth, who they've now got permanently. So just because they got that many clean sheets doesn't necessarily mean it correlates. But one thing's for sure is they were really good in the championship at got scoring goals. They scored 97 last season. They ended up conceding 45 goals. So that just shows you, even though they got 17 clean sheets, they actually did quite concede a lot. So with those 97 goals, a plus 52 goal difference. And it's going to be interesting when we talk about Hull, because goal difference for Hull was much shorter, and that's why it's a very interesting comparison.
So who would be, if you were looking, who would be the assets here? I mean, Thomas has been in, he's the only one I've seen sort of in a lot of drafts.
Yeah, so I think the main ones are, there's 3 of them, I would say. Firstly, Milan Van Ewijk. So Van Ewijk plays as a right back, and he got 8 assists last season. So for 4.0, that's pretty good value. Obviously, whether he'll kind of move across to translate it, we'll have to wait and see. But, I'm just thinking of like a right back that got assists occasionally, a little Stuart Dallas vibe going on there, potentially. Bobby Thomas, though, is the one where it looks the best value because he's more nailed on to start every single game. And he got 3 goals. Yeah, he's also 4 million, all the 4.0 defenders there. He got 3 goals and 2 assists, had 33 appearances last season, which is most than other centre players in defence for Coventry. So, and the other thing that's good about Coventry is their goal scorers last season were really spread. They didn't just have one man. So Haji Wright got the most goals, 17 goals, but they actually had 5 different players with more than 10 goals and seven different players with 7+. So you've got Ellis Sims, who got 13 goals. He's very good. Brandon Thomas Asante, who was really good in the World Cup with Ghana, he got 13. So there's a lot of different options that Coventry can work with. Sakamoto is a really good player as well. Jack Rudoni, Victor Torp scored a lot of goals. So there's a lot of good players for the Championship. It's just whether or not their attackers can translate into the Premier League.
Yeah, if we look at the fixtures here, like they're low down on Next 11's fixtures here. They're low down on attacking. This is the defensive one. They are about 5th, 6th from bottom. Arsenal away, Hull at home, Man City away, Brighton at home, Nottingham Forest away, Newcastle at home. I mean, Trig, if we're getting them in, it's just a purely bench boost for game week 2. Is there any other reason?
So, one reason to be wary, I think, is that Chelsea have about 20 players to get rid of on loan, and Lampard might well do Lampard a favour. So,
of course,
don't be surprised if there are a few changes in that team. But it looks a good strategy, game week 2 wildcard with, bench boost. Coventry. Yeah. I'm a bit worried about not doing it, to be honest. But we shall see.
The thing is, Nick, the way I look at that Hull game. So interestingly, Coventry actually played Hull on the opening day of the Championship season last season, and they drew 0-0. But the funny thing was, for that game, loads of Hull's players were out injured. And Ollie McBurney, who's their top scorer, takes penalties, wasn't playing that game. So just factor that into your thinking about that fixture. And the other thing I saw as well, that Hull are trying to get Leon Bailey. Do you remember him from Aston Villa? So, a couple of these Hull players could just creep in and start to ruin that Coventry clean sheet potentially.
Lee, did you have anything to say on Coventry, mate, before we move on?
Not really, to be honest.
No,
I think Roberto's covered it as best as anyone can have.
Yes. We've got him. I especially scouted you. I know you're already a member of the podcast, didn't I, Roberto, for this stream? You've got to be on this one. We need your championship knowledge. Right, let's move on to Crystal Palace. So penalties, Mateta, Orsar, free kicks, Johnson, corners, Johnson, Watt, and Kamada. Lee, I'll come to you first, mate, because you didn't talk to the whole Coventry one. Have you got? I mean, I've not heard many Crystal Palace players talked about this season. Have you got thoughts of any of them in your team?
I quite like some of the defenders for Defcons, to be honest. I mean, like a bit of a spoiler. Wow. I've got Campbell in my team.
It's so like 5 million triggers as well.
Yeah, I do like him from a Defcon point of view. Chris Richards was solid last year. The defense is still going to be solid. Be interested to see how they line up under the new manager. I've heard of rumours that is Johnson going to get sold? Fans aren't happy with him, so I don't know if that's anything to keep an eye on. I think there's a few decent options, but I think for me it's probably Campbell, Richards, and stick to the defence.
Yeah, and he joined in January, didn't he, Johnson?
Yeah,
wasn't that long ago? Yeah. I suppose you've got a different manager there. Greg, you've got Canva, haven't you?
Well, I don't know if I have now. I've changed my team every day, but yeah, he looks decent. I've been put off because I looked at the league table since January, and that Palace are 4th from bottom. Like, they haven't done well. For latter half of last season, they were pretty bad when they lost Gahey, and now they've lost Lacroix as well. So, I mean, they haven't played yet, have they, without Lacroix? I mean, I think he's going to be a big loss for them. So, I've kind of going off him a little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of going off Camvo a bit.
He was one of your stars last season, Lacroix, wasn't he?
He was the first name on my team sheet. But I'm not sure Camvo is.
If we have a quick look at the fixtures on Next 11, they're 6th on defensive, so it's not too bad. Everton away, Man City at home, Fulham away, Ipswich at home, Leeds away, Nottingham Forest. Those first 3 aren't great, are they, Roberto?
No, I think from a defensive point of view, I looked at it very early on when the game first launched, and I was like, could I justify like a Tyrick Mitchell if I was struggling for funds? I don't think you can, because in every fixture, you're like, okay, I could bench them, so that gives me an option to play my other defenders. But then the weeks that you're like really struggling with your other defenders' fixtures and you want to play the Palace defender, every single week it just looks a bit terrible. Like away to Fulham could equally score. Everton away, Everton could equally score. The only sort of time you'd really bank on it is game week 4, and by then you could just free hit in 4. So I think Palace are probably like, I would maybe look at one of their attackers, but from a defensive point of view, with Lacroix leaving, there's a lot of change there with the new manager. I still like Sarr. I know again the Watford thing comes in, but genuinely for that price, I don't think there's many better at 6.5 when you consider Sarr's goal threat. A lot of the 6.5 mids, like Dewsbury Hall, for instance, are good because they play every minute and he's on the occasional set piece. But with Sarr, he might not be first choice penalty taker, but the way that Palace play is just so set up for Sarr every time. So I think he's really a good option.
Yeah, maybe I was a bit harsh saying there weren't options. I guess there are. I guess there's not any nailed options. What about Munoz? I saw Matthias saying he's going a bit underrated. Anyone tempted with him? 5.5? No. Well, I think that answers our question, doesn't it? So let's move on to Everton. So in Dyer, of course, we don't know if he's going to be there, but if he is, we assume he's on penalties. Free kicks, you got Andrews, hero there, Garner, Dewsbury Hall. Let's talk FBO, Andy's hero. The same two on corners. Craig, what's your thoughts on Everton, mate? I mean, there's a few Dewsbury Halls and Dyers going around, isn't there?
Yeah, and Dyer's interesting. I think his father said he wasn't going anywhere, didn't he? So maybe he's going to be staying now. If he is, then he'll probably be back in my team.
You'll probably be mine.
Defence looks a lot more solid with Norgard, isn't it? I always think the key to a defence is a good defensive midfield, and getting Norgard's going to help them there. But a lot of the fans are saying they don't think Tarkowski will be playing all the time, so which is strange. He comes up in a lot of solves, I think, doesn't he? But
how much is
Norgard could be interesting because Garner might go further forward now, which might actually lessen his DEFCONs. But Norgard could be very good for them because I think season 24 he was pretty good for DEFCONs. So he could be quite interesting. I think he's only 5 million, isn't he?
Who's that?
Yeah, that's right.
Norgard.
Yeah, Norgard's 5. Is Garner back from his surgery that he had?
Not yet, but I think he is going to be back.
Start soon, yeah. What about yourself, Lee? Have you got any interest? Is Tarkowski 6 or 5.5? I can't remember.
6.
Yeah.
It's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot. Any temptation for him?
No, not the beginning at least. No. Like Nick said, I quite like Norgard. If he's going to play, he was solid for DEFCONs at Brighton, at Brentford. Sorry, and if Garner's fit, if we know he's going to start game week 1, I think Garner's probably going to be a lock in my team. I just think he's quality. I think he's on set pieces. He's good for DEFCON. He's kind of does it all really.
He might be on penalties, mightn't he? If Dye goes, but
yeah, maybe
his stock might fall if Dye stays. I guess people have switched to him.
So next 11 have got them top of their defensive charts, which is somewhat surprising to me. They were quite high on first, and you can see with next 11. By the way, if you want to check out, sign up using the link in description below to get 25% discount. You've got
strange shows. They don't look that easy. I mean, no teams really have easy fixtures, do they?
I think it's because I've arranged it by the first 6, and they've got Ipswich and Hull in there, which are both 45%.
That'll be what skews it, I think.
Yeah, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Man United, Spurs. Not necessarily going to get a clean sheet there, are you?
No.
2, 3, and 4 look tough.
Yeah, maybe target in game week 5 and 6, particularly the attackers.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The thing I think with Everton is it could just be a wait and see, and you come back to them in that potential wildcard window around the international break. But before then, I'm not that keen.
Is game week 5 straight after the international break, or is it?
No. So game week 5 is the one before the international break, and then there's an international break, and then it's game week 6.
Have they changed it this year? Is the international break like twice as long this time?
Yeah, it's 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks or something. Yeah.
Painful.
Ridiculously long. Okay. But then I do think it means the other international breaks is either not quite as many or something like that. I think there's only one other one between then and Christmas. So it might work out better. Okay, let's move on to Fulham. Set piece takers. Iwobi on penalties or Robinson. Free kicks Iwobi. Corners Iwobi. And I'm a little bit annoyed at you here, Lee, because you haven't even got my players in your blooming team. Miniz.
Yeah, he's
Anderson's missing.
He's not going to start, Gary.
And Anderson, Binderson, as we call him here, of course, Trig.
Anderson's injured.
Yeah, he's injured.
Oh, he's suspended.
Oh, he's
suspended for game week.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Suspended. Apologies.
How dare I doubt you, Lee? How dare I doubt you?
The other slight issue is you've got Iwobi and Robinson as the pen takers, but I'm pretty confident Gonzalo Garcia, who's come in from Real Madrid, is gonna take pens.
He's interesting, Garcia. He is interesting. I don't think Fulham are going to be as bad as people think they are. I think they could do.
I think they will be.
I think
that's a good thing. Everyone thinks they're going to be bad, which is good for me because it's good to be a bit different. And I think they're going to be fine. They've got a good fixture run coming up too, Gary, in 5 and 6, I think it is.
Yeah, I'll get the fixture up in a second. Do you not think Miniz, based on your research, you don't think he's going to start? Because he's in my draft at the minute.
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
You've got to get rid of him. You've got to take him out.
McBurney, well, I guess we'll get on to Hull in a bit, won't we? But he's the only other 5.5 I could sort of be interested in. Well, interestingly, Candy was saying, and I double checked on this. If you run a solve on FPL Review at the minute, Anderson is back. He's in there, which is really. I thought it was surprising, but it's really surprising considering he's not even. He's not even starting for eligible.
He's in there on the bench, isn't he? But the Solver still loves him from last season. Although he didn't do that fantastic last season, really.
No, he didn't. Can you imagine? I mean, I've got to avoid getting in my team just so Darius doesn't. Can you imagine? Can you imagine on a Saturday night?
Oh dear, unbearable.
So they're quite low on. I've only put up here the defensive fixtures. They're down in 5th from bottom: Chelsea, Sunderland, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Man United, Ipswich. I guess it's maybe. So like you say, Trig, it's similar, isn't it? It's game week 6 on.
Yeah, it's the same
game
story.
Week 6 on.
6 on, yeah.
It's what we said with Everton. Really applies to Fulham.
So it's good. You can watch Garcia. And then,
they've got Ipswich Coventry in a row.
Yeah,
I know.
Wow, we'll all be wild carding in triple Fulham.
Why is everyone wild carding? No one likes transfers anymore. It's all like, I'm doing this and I'm wild carding in game week 4. I'm wild carding in game week 6. Does nobody make transfers? I'm not planning on using my wild card.
Not when there's double chips. Not when there's double chips, Nick. We gotta splurge those chips.
This is just something to talk about pre-season and keep your mind occupied. That's what I think it might be to some extent. Although a lot of the big content creators are talking about genuinely bench boosting game week 1 or 2, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're serious about it. I mean, I know from doing content every day that it's good to have because it gives you something to talk about, doesn't it? But I think this year they are actually serious about an early bench boost, whereas in previous years they pretend they're going to do it and then they don't. But I think this time they actually will, most of them.
Lads, we should be proud of ourselves. We're doing well for time. Your file you sent me was so big, Lee, I had to split it in half and upload it in 2 different PowerPoints. We are halfway through because we are now on the second slideshow. So I'll read through this. We're on to Hull, one of the promoted teams, and then we'll hand over to our resident expert, Roberto. Penalties, McBurney, which is nice. I'm going to bring him in.
Oh, I've made him. I've made a boo boo here. I can see it already.
Free kicks, a Fulham player.
I'm so sorry.
Free kicks to be confirmed. Or you could tell us maybe if you can remember, Lee.
Giles has got a good left foot. Is Giles a good guess, Roberto? Yep. I'm a miles off.
I believe it will be Crooks. I believe, but I'm not I'm not 100% sure. It's like 60-40 Crooks.
Just like to say thank you very much to Jim for the 200 joules. I have no idea what that means. I did get an email from YouTube the other day, but thank you. It's very much appreciated, mate. And corners, Slater and Charles. So yeah, go on, Roberto. Talk us through it, mate. Should I be getting McBurney instead of Muniz?
I think absolutely. I think Ollie McBurney has to be in all of our Game Week 1 teams. He's an absolute essential pick. But I'll tell you why, for one, right? Number one, he's just a good lad. He's a good lad. Number two, if you haven't seen it, go to the Hull City Twitter account, right? And watch their video they posted about FPL. It is absolute comedy gold. So all the Hull City squad make an FPL team together. And I'll tell you what, McBurney's definitely been watching Let's Talk FPL because he's got all the FPL knowledge. He knows about the 6.0 mids, the 6.5 strikers. Like he's got it down to a T. It's brilliant. Funnily enough, one of the Hull City players, I believe it was Miller, I forget which one now, put in Bruno Fernandes into the team against them Game Week 1. So pretty controversial stuff. But
he captains him. That's not very good for team confidence.
No, I think he'll be getting in trouble for doing that probably. We know what happened with Villa a few seasons ago when Dean Smith banned all of them from playing it. But how Hull City are in the Premier League is incredible. It really is an incredible story. They were close to relegation in 24-25. They finished on 49 points that season. They should have really gone down, but they had a great final day escape. And now they're in the Premier League. So 17 goals for McBurney last season. No one saw it coming. They beat Middlesbrough in the playoff final, which is weird because Southampton actually beat Middlesbrough in the semi, but because of Spygate, where Southampton basically spied on 3 clubs in the Championship, they got kicked out of the playoffs. So they ended up playing Middlesbrough instead of Southampton in the playoff final. And it was just a very cagey playoff final, 0-0 for a lot of it. Middlesbrough just didn't quite have enough. They probably were a better team over the course of the season, but alas, Hull are here. They got promoted with a goal difference. And listen to this, because Coventry was plus 52, right? Hull finished with a goal difference of plus 4. They scored a total number, right? 70 goals. They conceded 66 goals and got promotion. So what I will say, do not be picking Hull City defenders anytime soon, right? If they're conceding 66 goals in the Championship, just think what the numbers could be in the Premier League. So realistically, most weeks it's going to be captain someone against Hull City. They've got Jack Butland, who they brought in. Now, they have also brought in Zolakis, so could be a 50-50. Wonder who will start there. But a few similar names, the likes of John Egan from Sheffield United, Semi Ajayi used to be at West Brom. And of course, they used to have, unfortunately not this season, Lundstrom last season. John Lundstrom from ex-Sheffield United, but unfortunately he's left.
Oh, yeah.
So McBurney is the only pick you go for. He's cheap, he takes pens, but incredible manager. He came in mid-season and got them promoted. Sergei Yakirovich, he had to be manager of the year. So I don't think there's much to say here. It's just do not touch their defence at all because it's just not worth it.
So this is forwards. They were pretty low down on offence as well. This is their actually maybe this is their defensive one. But anyway, the fixtures are Man United, Coventry, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle. A lot of those away. Yeah, they're just an avoid. Trig, Lee, do you have any thoughts on them?
They're going to be targeting that Coventry game, aren't they? That's the one they're going to want the points. Yeah, I mean, I've got one at the moment. Crooks, and I'm thinking of paying an extra $500,000 to go out to a Norgard or somebody, so I've got someone decent on the bench.
Yeah,
but currently I've got Crooks because he's a minimum price.
I would argue that the best midfielder you can pick from Hull is Slater, because Slater's probably the most secure for minutes of any of the Hull midfielders. Played a lot of games last season. He actually got 2 goals as well. Crooks got 4 goals last season, so probably worth considering Slater if you need a 4.5 mid, I would say.
Actually, I get what this means. This is the percentage chance of them scoring on the offensive, and they have got, apart from the Coventry game, basically it's like a 15 to 20% chance of scoring in most of them have been in 5. So even for McBurney, it doesn't necessarily look great, does it? But can we move on to the next team, who are Ipswich? So penalties. I'll ask you this in a minute. I'll ask you that in a minute. Penalties, Clark. Free kicks, Nunes, Clark. Corners. Oh, Davis is on corners. And Nunes. What's happened to Davis? Leaf Davis, Roberto. He was. I was looking. He had like, what was it, 20 assists or something last year. Then he's dropped down to like 5. What's happened to him? And what's your thoughts on Ipswich?
To be honest, the 24-25 season, everyone was talking about Leaf Davis because of the fact he had something like 18 assists in the Championship the season before. Now, no sane defender does that, what he did, right? And so that's why everyone picked him as their 4.0 defender in 24-25. Ahead of this season, people are not looking at Leaf Davis, but it's only because of DEFCONs. If DEFCONs wasn't a thing, everyone would have Davis because he's still very attacking. He still takes up really good positions. It's just he didn't get as many as 18 assists last season. So people are like, oh my gosh, he's not the Messiah
He's 4
anymore.
million.
Exactly. Every promoted defender is 4.0. So when it comes to Ipswich, they're a really interesting team because their top scorer last season was Jack Clark, who plays in the 10 role. 16 goals last season. He had a very good season because he was previously joined there, but it was sort of midway through the season when he was in the Premier League with Ipswich. But he had a really good full season in the Championship. The problem with Ipswich, I think, is actually the manager. I just don't rate Gary O'Neill as a manager. He fluked a few good games for Wolves. Let's not beat around the bush. He was very good at Wolves. He didn't do well at Bournemouth. I'm concerned for Ipswich. I think they probably finished 19th. But from an FPL point of view, again, target their fixtures. The only one I would say is a really good pick is, well, there's 2 really. It's either Furlong, who is actually quite under the radar. No one's talking about him, but he's a quite attacking fullback on the other side. And you might know someone called Paul Furlong. That's his son. He's also, funnily enough, got a brother called Darian Furlong.
Former Chelsea striker.
I can't remember if he played for Chelsea. Yeah,
Paul Furlong was former Chelsea striker when he Chelsea.
Funnily enough, Darian Furlong is the brother of this Furlong, who's Darnell. And Darian Furlong plays for the team that I actually commentate on the last few days. And they played a fixture against Watford, and the Watford Academy coach is Paul Furlong. So it's all Furlongs, basically. It's a bit funny. But no, the main 4.0 defender to pick for Ipswich is Furlong, or I would also consider, is not actually in this lineup, Issa Diop, because he's come in. Now, whether he'll be a starter will be interesting to see. I believe he does get a starting role. Now, it's whether it's for Greaves or for O'Shea is the question. But, Diop does pop up with the occasional goal, obviously scored at the World Cup with Morocco. I don't think he's one of the, worst picks if you need a 4.0 defender, because Diop does pop up with the occasional attacking return. But outside of that, there's too many unknowns. I mean, Maeda is a really good player from Celtic. He did really well for them last season and did well in the World Cup with Japan, but it's a wait and see to see if he adapts to the Premier League for sure.
I currently have O'Shea in my team.
Yeah, he's top of the models for 4 million, isn't he?
Played every game last season, didn't get a single yellow card the entire season.
But are you not worried about
could
Diop?
Be decent at DEFCONs. Well, the fact he's club captain would seem unlikely to me that he would.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, of course, but probably find out in a week or 2. But he's the only one that interests me. He's currently in my team. I've got him starting possibly in game week 1. My starting team.
We're forgetting how good Sunderland are there, Nick.
They're shit.
What?
I might try and put you off here, lads. Ipswich are bottom of the defensive ticker. They weren't much higher on the attacking one. I mean, decent chance against Sunderland to get a clean sheet at home, but then Man United away, Liverpool at home, Crystal Palace away, Everton away, no clean sheet odds there of more than 20%. And then they've got City in game week 7.
I can't believe it. I can't believe how people have got such short memories. So Sunderland just got European football, and we're thinking that that's a good chance for a clean sheet for Ipswich. What are we doing?
First game of the season at home. Ipswich are going to be really good at home, I think, this season.
To be fair to Ipswich, last season in the Championship, they only lost once at home. But this is the Championship.
Exactly.
This is the Championship, not the Prem.
Wrong slide.
Well, they've got Diop
okay.
now, haven't they?
Lee, I'm going to come to you, mate. As again, we sort of missed out on there. So we got Leeds here. Penalties, DCL or Nemeka. Free kick, your boy Stack, Trig or Wilson or Wilson. Corners, Stack, Justin, Wilson. This name here has been going around a bit the last few days. Mihajlovic. I think he's quite high on Solio as well. But Lee, anyway, your thoughts on Leeds, mate?
Just real quick on Ipswich. I believe Palmer is a $4 million goalkeeper, by the way.
And he won't be starting.
There you go. I've popped him in because he's played a bit in pre-season.
They've signed a new keeper called Sherpen. He's really tall.
There we go. Just ignore what I said down maybe.
And Perry's going because Trafford joined today. I think it's official now.
There we go. I think there's some good options in Leeds. I think they'll have a good year. I say Removic. I don't know if that's right. He's 5 million. I think Rodon at 4.5 might offer similar value in terms of that. I like DCL. Harry Wilson is Harry Wilson. He's a good player. I like Ampadu from a DEFCON point of view. I think Stack's a good player. I think there's some good options there. I've got 2 or 3 in my draft right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
they've improved, haven't they? I mean, they haven't really lost anybody of significance, and they brought Wilson in and Mihajlovic. But yeah, I think you're right about Rodon because he's one of the few DEFCON defenders that hasn't actually gone up in price, isn't he? I mean, I was quite surprised. Maybe he was 4 million last season, but at 4.5, I think he's
I agree.
Value, isn't he?
Yeah, I agree, Nick. I think Leeds have strengthened well, but I think Strauch is going to be a bigger loss for them. Now, I agree that this Mihajlovic, we'll try and butcher it at some point. But this guy does look good in preseason. But for instance, if you were asking a Leeds fan, would they rather lose Bijol or Strauch? They definitely say Bijol. I think what Strauch did for them was very, very big. He was such a good player in the Championship as well. You know, he scored goals in the Championship. So it will be interesting. It will be interesting to see how they adapt because we've always said Leeds in previous seasons, before the last couple of years, don't ever go near a Leeds defender. And if the DEFCON makes a big factor, especially with Mihajlovic, or I'll just call him Mr. M, then yeah, it could be really.
We've got to get a nickname for him.
really interesting.
Mookow or something.
Yeah.
But
I can see Rob
Trafford
Taft
as well.
The Bosnian defender, so maybe we need something a bit better than that.
Trafford should improve the defence as well. So
yeah, that's a really good signing, Trafford.
I think they're going to do pretty well.
So if we look at fixtures, they're pretty much mid-table on both attacking and defensive fixtures. Forest away, Brentford at home, Brighton away, Newcastle at home, Crystal Palace. It's not terrible, is it?
Yeah, I mean,
they're pretty good.
If you had to sum up Leeds fixtures, the way I would describe it is just like mid.
Yeah,
they're not incredible, but they're not terrible at the same time. They're just like, all right.
It's the same with every team, though, isn't it? Nobody's got a really great run of fixtures.
I don't know. Maybe a couple teams.
There's no standout fixture runs, I'd say. Not compared to previous seasons.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Not like a solid bank of 6 good.
Yeah, it's not as much of a tap-in as used previous seasons.
Okay, I think DCL is certainly very popular still amongst at least the content creators. Let's move on to Liverpool. So we got penalties, a big debate, a big effect is probably going to be had on FPL this season, but whether it's Isaac or Szoboszlai. Free kicks, Szoboszlai, Wirtz. Corners, Szoboszlai, Wirtz. Wirtz coming into a lot of teams I've noticed Trig over the last week, probably because he's in review. Because I don't think many people have been thinking about him before that. I mean, Szoboszlai was in everyone's team already. What are your thoughts on Liverpool?
I mean, the manager has said as well that he's going to be starting in the 10, hasn't he? So, and if Isaac is on penalties, that might swing a few people away from Szoboszlai. So there's not much between those two, I think, really. But we shall see. Wirtz is a bit more expensive, isn't he?
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, I think with Szoboszlai, I don't think it matters if he's not on pens. Because
it does.
I don't think it does, because the thing you're buying Szoboszlai for isn't necessarily just pens. It's routes to points in other ways and minutes. So whereas Wirtz might get subbed off if they're chasing a game late on, I think Szoboszlai will stay on whatever happens because he can fill in at right back. He can play deeper. He can play in the 10 if Wirtz has come off. So I just think what you're buying with Szoboszlai is security of minutes. And as we always say in FPL, minutes are king.
What's the price difference again? I know Szoboszlai's 7.
It's
0.5 million.
0.5 million.
Oh, it's not that much then, is it?
I think Wirtz is the one with the upside, but Szoboszlai is the one with a much higher floor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you. Penalties, it may not write him out completely if he hasn't got penalties, but it's a massive blooming plus if he does.
Yeah, Liverpool normally get a lot, don't they?
Yeah. I guess the only concern is if they do a bit of an Arsenal from a few seasons ago, where because there's not one designated penalty taker necessarily at the moment, as far as we know, what if they do like Saka and Odegaard did, where they start sharing it between different players? Like Isak could give one to Wirtz, Szoboszlai could get one. Like it might just be spread around.
Well, you got any thoughts on Liverpool players? Anyone at the minute currently, Lee?
I have dabbled with Isak in my team, to be honest. I'm probably one of the few that doesn't have Szoboszlai. He's not currently in my team. I'm just a little bit worried that we're always going to turn him into like the Alex Scott role, and he's not so much involved in the end product of things. So I think he's great value at 7 million. I think he's probably one of the more underpriced players in the game. I'm just a little bit conscious that I don't know what role he's going to be under Iraola. That's what puts me off a little bit. I still think people forget how good Isak is. I think if he's fit and firing, and we hope he is, he's probably the only player in terms of strikers that can rival Haaland.
Yeah, and if I get there,
we just need him to stay fit. That's the issue.
It's been a long time though, hasn't it, since we saw the best of Isaac.
They're top of attacking stats on next 11. Newcastle away, Nottingham Forest at home, Ipswich away, Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, Man City at home. I mean,
a lot of people are doubling up on Wirtz and Szoboszlai, aren't they? I mean, I'm thinking of doing that myself.
I mean,
takes the risk away a little bit, doesn't it? They're both pretty cheap, really.
That's the thing. For the same price, though, as Szoboszlai, you can get Gakpo. Now, if Liverpool don't sign someone, or if Gakpo doesn't leave, like potentially been rumoured with Tottenham, which I think would be a crazy signing, I don't hate Gakpo as a differential. Like, he started last season really, really well. Scored against Bournemouth, got an assist, I think, against Newcastle, maybe even scored. Like, he starts seasons quite quickly, and as long as there's no other threat to his minutes, which, as things stand, I don't think there is, to be honest.
Where does
I don't think you can go. You can't go there. You can't go there because the transfer window is shut, and he might be going to Tottenham. And they have signed somebody, haven't they?
Who's that? Where does he play? Yeah, I think he played from
Munoz.
Oh, Victor Munoz. Yeah, I don't know what position he plays, to be perfectly honest.
I think he plays Gakpo's position, doesn't he?
Yeah, he plays one of the wings. I also made another mistake. That Florentino is a Fulham player. Ignore that. I was tired when I was making these, so just ignore that.
Barcola could come in as well.
Would you not mind, Trig? Would you not mind Gakpo at Spurs? I think that'd be quite a nice pick.
Yeah, possibly, but not straight away. You wouldn't buy him game. If you moved to Tottenham tomorrow, you wouldn't put him in your team, would you? But I don't think you can pick him for Liverpool just in case he does leave. I'll see what you mean.
He's a natural left winger.
So you could buy him, I guess, and if he moves to Tottenham, then keep him anyway. But He'd probably miss a game or two with all that going on, wouldn't he?
Should we move on, lads, to see unless you've got anything else to say about Liverpool? So City, obviously the new manager, penalties, Haaland, Mamouche, presumably if Haaland's not on the field, free kicks, Mamouche, Cherky, corners, Cherky, Foden. Yeah, what do you think, lads? I mean, lots of options here, aren't there? Semenyo, Foden, Anderson is currently in my team. Lee, I'll come to you, mate, again. Have you currently got much love for City?
Yeah, I did make a video of an old Haaland draft. Like, Haaland has made his way back into my team, but I'm just worried about Maresca. I just don't particularly rate him as a manager. Like, I've seen some quotes where he wants these really wide men, so I can see Semenyo and Doku just hugging the touchlines, and I think Doku might profit as a result of that. But I think Semenyo might struggle. If Rodri goes, I think that's a huge loss. He's like the glue guy. He makes everything tick. I know he's come out and said Foden and Guardiola, like, I don't know what he called them. He kind of bigged them all up. I just think it's too risky to go for really anyone except Haaland. I'm sure people might disagree, but just Haaland for me right now.
I think Semenyo's doable. He's come out very highly in Rob T's graphic today, didn't he? With the projected goal and assist for the season. I think he's fourth.
Yeah,
made me think we might be underestimating him, but
I was going to say that, Nick. I can't understand. There's, people again. I said it earlier with Sunderland defense, but with Semenyo, like, I think people have forgotten he was the fourth highest scoring player in the game last season. Like, he was incredible. And what you got to factor in is he made the switch to a new club. So you think, okay, maybe there's a little bit of adjustment period. Nope. He just carried on, kept scoring as soon as he joined. He was one of the best value. He was 7 million at the start of the season, right? And it was probably my favourite moment of the whole season. I had him game week 1, Bournemouth, Liverpool. And I probably don't see myself going without him either at the start of this season, because I'm going to make a call, right? I'm going to do a bit of an Andrew, but it's because I genuinely believe in it. I'm making a big balls call. I believe Antoine Semenyo is the top FPL point scorer this season. The reason I say that is there's going to be points in the season where we're going to take Haaland out of our team because of how expensive he is. I don't see a time where we take Semenyo out because he doesn't have much right-wing competition now. Bernardo Silva's gone. I don't see Marmouche playing there. And I get the point that some people are saying, but I sort of don't agree with about Maresca saying that his wing is going to hug the touchlines. But Semenyo, the thing with Semenyo, why he was so good at Bournemouth was he could get to the byline and still score from there. Like, I remember there was that one, I forget who he was playing now. Was it Fulham or Tottenham? There was a goal he scored where he literally was like running, trying to keep the ball in, nearly dribbled the ball out of play and slotted it under the legs. I think it was Leno. It might have been the Fulham game. Like, I think Semenyo is perfect in those kind of games where he's running at a fullback. And if he's out wide, I don't mind because, he's now got Haaland who, obviously he's an elite finisher, but Haaland is better when he's got someone whipping balls in. And I think, Semenyo wasn't there at the start of the season. So that could be more assists for Semenyo, I think.
I think a lot of people are avoiding the Semenyo price bracket, and they've got Bruno.
Exactly. He's quite an awkward price.
But I
think it's price.
With how well he did last season, I think he's underpriced, personally. Because
he is, I agree.
His price is all right, but it's not fitting in with people's templates at the moment.
In my price predictions at the start, when the game launched, before the prices came out, I predicted Semenyo to be 10.5. And so the fact he's 2 million cheaper than that, I said it was João Pedro, and I didn't understand how he didn't change price. But Semenyo for me, like a 1.5 did change. I understand because he was too cheap at Bournemouth, but I think he could be a cheat code this season again.
If we have a quick look at their fixtures, they're sort of upper middle table on both. I mean, look at that percentage scoring chance, 74% against Bournemouth at home, Crystal Palace away, Coventry at home, Man United away, Sunderland at home, Liverpool. I mean, you've got to have Haaland, haven't you, Trig, for that Coventry?
Well,
I'm sure I'm going to triple captain there. I think
Semenyo up against his old club in game week 1.
Yeah.
What happened last year when he went there at the end of the season? Did he score in that one?
He didn't, no. It finished 1-1. Haaland scored the only goal for City.
I think this is going to be a tough fixture for City, to be honest. I think Bournemouth normally start pretty quickly.
Do you think with the new manager for Bournemouth, it might be a win for City just because of the adjustment period?
No, I don't think it'll make much difference. I think he'll be sticking to the tried and trusted Bournemouth.
Wait till you see my potential bench boost one draft later. Trig. You're going to be excited.
You can say the same about Man City with Maresca. So,
yeah, but at least Maresca's managed in the Premier League, whereas Marco Rose hasn't for Bournemouth. So
yeah, true.
I suppose the thing as well, I've seen Prodigy's put in the chat. Semenyo did outscore Haaland for points since he joined Man City. So, if you take it on that basis, maybe my take about him being number 1 might not be that far off.
He was almost playing as a striker, wasn't he, under Pep at times?
Yeah.
But I don't think Foden, I had him briefly, but I don't think we can go there really.
I think Foden needs to get confident.
Around.
Like he needs to build up. Yeah, exactly. Churky's a problem. And we are looking at these players that didn't go to the World Cup and saying, oh, how exciting could they be? But there is a reason they didn't go to the World Cup because of the seasons they had. Like, I know Palmer's got explosive potential, but he's not shown that for a good 30 game weeks. Like, I remember there was a game, it was the Villa game, Nick, where Palmer, I think it was the game where Pedro scored a hat-trick against Villa. That game, I seem to remember Palmer playing well. Since then, I've not really seen like a convincing Palmer performance, and that was like March, I think. So,
lads, I want to move on. Because we're making good time. Man United up next. Penalties, of course, Bruno Fernandes. Free kicks, Bruno and Mbeumo. Corners, Bruno and Mbeumo. I mean, Lee, you're a Man United fan. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've got to come to you for the first take on United. Man.
I think there's some good options. Just a little kind of, I guess, caveat to the team. Like Yoro's really good playing right back in pre-season. There could be a world that Yoro plays right back. Maguire and having a centre backs. Dorgu could come in at left back. It could be Dallo or Mazraoui. Mount has been incredible in pre-season, by the way. That's the reason why he's in the team. That could easily be Andre Santos. Tielemans is currently injured. Fernandes is Fernandes, like he's going to be a beast all season. I think Mbeumo will start as the 9. I really like Cunha as well. It just depends. I think there's probably too much risk on Cunha if they want to go Dorgu there instead. I imagine Cunha will play the easy games, and Dorgu might come in against the harder teams, I guess, because like we saw him do quite well against the likes of, like, he scored that wonder goal against Arsenal and things like that. But I think there's some good options. You just need to kind of pick them wisely, I suppose. But Bruno's not left my team so far.
Is Sesko injured? Is that why you've got Mbeumo up front?
I just think he trusts him. I think it's a character trust issue. Yeah, I just think he trusts him. I actually don't know Sesko's current injury status.
I think he is injured.
I think he's yellow flag, maybe.
Yeah. Also, what's the latest on Martinez at the back?
I don't know the latest, actually.
He won't be.
Is that why Harry Maguire is so high on you and Solio?
No, Maguire will start. Yeah, Maguire will start every game.
Even if Martinez is there?
I think it'll be Martinez and Maguire.
He never used to start every game, though, did he?
No,
that's what I was thinking.
He had a really good season, though. That's why I was surprised he didn't get called up by Tuchel, because at the end of last season, he was back to Maguire of his previous self. Like, really, really good.
True. Do you think Maguire, I'm asking this from a selfish point of view, because you're saying I'm thinking about it for my team in a minute. Do you think he's worth 0.5 more than Shaw?
That's 4. Exactly why I asked that question, because I'm
right.
So if Maguire is nailed, he probably is worth it, because he does score goals, doesn't he, Maguire?
Yeah, and he's quite good for DEFCON, isn't he?
Yeah.
Haven't United been linked to Lewis Hall?
I might try and get him. It's very hard trying to find the extra $500,000 for these sort of things, isn't it?
Yeah, we have been linked with Hall. I can't see them selling this many players in a single window. I think this
We
is it.
sell another bloody player
I know.
and buy a toddler to replace him.
As much as I would love him, I just don't see it happening.
No.
I think once if De Ligt becomes fit and Martinez is fit, that would be my preferred centre back pairing of Martinez and De Ligt. But I still don't know what the issue is with De Ligt. He got a mystery injury last season and he's not played since.
He just can't seem to get fit.
No.
Where's Dorgu in all this?
I think he's just good. I think he's going to rotate between left wing and left back. I think that would be the starters, and Dorgu probably plays. Yeah, probably the more difficult games.
You'd think Sesko. Sorry, I was just going to say Sesko. You'd think would be the starter when he's fit, wouldn't you? Like most of the time. Maybe,
but he didn't really start much towards the back end of last season. Like it was still Boomo, wasn't it? I wouldn't rush to that one. I'd wait until he got some consecutive starts before doing anything else. I think Mbeumo will be the main starter, a starting striker, and then if anything changes, then we can maybe jump on it, and then Mbeumo moves to right wing. But
yeah,
I think I'd like to see Sesko start 5 or 6 games in a row before I made a jump to that.
Sure.
With a quick look at their fixtures, this is defensive this time. They're 4th in the list, which is pretty decent. Because I'm guessing mainly that's because it's Hull away, 50% chance for a clean sheet. Ipswich 45%, followed by gets more difficult then. Everton, City, Fulham, Spurs. Yeah,
Not that bad, are they? They're not that bad later on. Really.
No, I don't know.
But they could easily score against City, and
I think that's for opening 4 games. I think that's 3 clean sheets.
Yeah,
they're easy enough to get off.
People were saying they're only good for the first 2, but they're not really. I mean, if they're playing well, you keep them.
And to be fair to Lenny Senny Lomans, he had a really good season. Like considering it was his first full season, it's just a shame that everyone's now going to remember that World Cup game. It's like it's a shame because he's from a Premier League point of view. I suppose he couldn't get much worse than Onana, but you know he's definitely like. Given the United fans some hope in goal, it's interesting because I've seen a lot of your keepers have gone, Lee. Like Darlow's obviously come in, and you've let go of Bayindir and also Vitek. So
yeah,
is that a thing where you're thinking he's gonna give like the cup games maybe to Darlow? Is that what you reckon?
Yeah, I think at least the Carling Cup or League Cup, whatever it's called nowadays. Maybe early round FA Cup, and then Lammers will come in later in that. Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed with the fee for Vitek. I know is it 7 + 7 plus some add-ons. When I see him like Rushworth going for 22, 23, Trafford that barely played goes for 40, and then I quite liked Vitek. I thought we could have got a bit of a higher fee than that, but it is what it is.
Do you think Layman, is worth an extra 0.5 over the 0.45 players?
I think when he's the same price, Gary, as Maguire, who's got a bit of Defcon and goal threat, you might as well just go Maguire. Like,
it'd be great to have a 5-4 or something in the first game of the season. Harry Maguire pops up with the winning header. Right, okay, so not really looking forward to talking about this one. Let's hope FPL Nightmare isn't still in the chat. Newcastle, penalties, Vortamada, free kick, Hall, corners, Murphy, Hall. Obviously, there's been a massive exodus. We lost our manager. We've lost Gordon, Tonali, Bruno G. We bought in 3 players. Nursery age. Okay, Trig, I'll come to you, mate. I'll be honest. There is a Newcastle player in my squad, but generally, I don't think we can go near them. Am I being too pessimistic?
I mean, it doesn't look that bad, that 11 there, to be fair. Joe Linton's probably injured, is he? Normally is.
Nightmare loves Asula, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, there's no guarantee he's going to start, though. So
you'd think if he does play, though, you'd think he'd be the pen taker, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barnes is the only interesting one, isn't he, really? But again, you're not going to go there, probably.
No, I mean, the fixtures... I've got Cow at the minute because They do have a very good fixture turn. I'll get the fixtures up in a minute. They do have a very good fixture turn in about game week. Look.
Pope's
Game
finished
week.
as well, isn't he? Pope's not going to be
5.
playing.
Do you not think? Who would they start in goal?
I think it might be that Hornacek.
Hornacek.
I mean,
Problem as well with Newcastle is the forward problem, because they've got about 3 forwards that are all 6.0, and you don't know who's going to start. Like, it could be Visser,
exactly.
It could be Voltemado, it could be Asula.
Yeah, these are clean sheet odds. Liverpool at home, Spurs away. Bournemouth at home, Leeds away. But then Hull, Coventry, and Villa. Probably like if you're wild carding around game week 5, sort of. Then would you say, Roberto?
I think we have to see some form from them first. I mean, the fact is they've had a manager. They've had a manager for 5 years, and that is a big change. You know, like this guy, he seems to be highly rated. I don't know how good he is. Obviously, he's had his time in working with Saudi, teams, but it's just so hard to know. It's just like I think it's the case with a lot of these clubs with new managers. Like, there's so much uncertainty going into game week 1 that I'd just rather wait and see. Like, let's think about the worst case scenario, right? Osula scores a brace against Liverpool. Is anyone going to have him? Unlikely. Is it going to hurt your rank? Unlikely.
FPL Nightmare will have him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, well, that's
in our host mini league.
Even so, like, his ownership's going to be low, right? And then going into Tottenham away, are you going to be picking any Newcastle defenders? Unlikely. Bournemouth at home, yeah, all right, if they've scored a couple of goals against Tottenham, but do you know what I mean? Like, I think we can just wait till even probably the Leeds game, and if by then there's an attacker that's scoring at every game, then we can maybe think about it. But I just think we wait and see.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to. We're doing very well for time, lads, I've got to say. Nottingham Forest. So penalties. Not sure whether it'll be Chris Wood or Morgan Gibbs-White. Free kicks Gibbs-White. Corners Gibbs-White. I've got to say Gibbs-White is very high on FPL review in terms of. I think it's like 3rd or 4th highest predicted midfielder. Yeah, Roberto, what are your thoughts? Have you got any Forest players in your?
I really like Forest this season because I think this is the revolution. They were in a relegation battle last season. I think they're going to do better this season. I don't necessarily think they're going to get like crazy high, but I think they could well be like in the region of 13th. No worries. In the region of 13th, 12th, probably, because I mean, just purely down to Oliver Glasner. Like, what a coup that is for Forest. Such a good manager. I think as well that the fullbacks are going to become really interesting. Like Ola Aina and Nico Williams, I think could become like the next Munoz and Mitchell, because wing backs for Forest are going to be so key in that system. And then I think Igor Jesus is going to be really fascinating to see where he plays, because I expect him to start. Now, whether Chris Wood plays or not will be an interesting thing. I think regardless of whether Wood starts, Igor Jesus, his form at the end of last season was so strong, and his pre-season form has been brilliant. So it'd be really interesting to see how this Forest side do defensively as well, I think, because they were so good in 24-25. They were so poor last season. It might be just like a balance of the two, and they're just like a mid-table defense this season, but I wouldn't be going for any of their defenders just because the fixtures, for me, from a defensive point of view, I'm not loving, but definitely keep an eye, I think, on the wing backs, because as Palace, did very well in their fullback time, I think Glasner could really get the most out of both of them.
Well, Williams is almost playing as a winger, isn't he? And Murillo could be the DEFCON player we thought he was going to be last season.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
true.
how many people?
A lot of people had him at the start of last season.
Exactly.
I think they're going to do pretty well. Cunha, I don't know how nailed Cunha's going to be. He started off slowly, didn't he? He all came from South America, and they couldn't get in the team when it started last year, but now we've got Jesus in the team. Cunha, I don't know if Victor will come in for Sells once he's fit, probably not. But Yeah, they look
I
pretty
also
decent,
think
don't they?
most likely, I think the penalty taker will be Gibbs White. Now, I've seen people say that it will be Chris Wood. Now, it is dependent, obviously, on Wood starting. I don't think Wood will start as many games as 24-25 because, obviously, he was injured for so much of last season. They don't want to just risk him getting another one. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's still, getting on a bit. So I think he will get the occasional start. Wood. I don't know if he'll start every game, but as a result of less minutes, I think I would argue the most likely penalty taker will be Gibbs White. Maybe even Igor Jesus, but I think it's unlikely. One thing I did see last season, there was that game against Chelsea that Igor Jesus did take the pen, but it was because Gibbs White wasn't on the pitch. But I think it was a Europa League game, Gibbs White was on the pitch against Porto, and then Igor Jesus took it. So I would imagine it would be Gibbs White, but one to monitor.
With a quick look at the fixtures on Next 11. Again, if you want to check them out, click on the link in the description for 25% discount. They're about lower mid-table, so this is defensive because I've got Neco Williams in my draft at the minute. I see there's some other defenders that are suggested too well in the Solvers. Nottingham Forest, Leeds at home, decent start. Liverpool away, Spurs at home, Aston Villa away, Coventry at home. It's very similar, isn't it? There's some good fixes in there, but they're not amazing. Would you say it's another one of those? Yeah, it's a mixed bag for a lot of teams, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I mean, Williams can score. He can get points at both ends, can't he, Williams? So, he could score away at Liverpool or get an assist or something. So
against his old team as well.
Yeah.
He's got Coventry in 5. If you haven't wild carded by then. So
I think the thing is, if you start with the Forest defender, I would definitely have good fixtures for your other defenders. Like you want to have a rotation because you won't want to be starting away to Liverpool, away to Villa, maybe even home to Tottenham. If Tottenham start the season well, like that might be an issue. And then we just come to, maybe look at some more defenders for Forest by the game week 5 fixture. But for those fixtures, they're a bit meh.
Someone like Murillo, though, you might better put in every game and just collect your DEFCONs and the occasional clean sheet.
Maybe.
I'm a little bit put off by the start they had last season. Do you remember Trig when we had quite
12 weeks before they had a?
They didn't have Glasner then, Gary. Don't forget, Glasner's the man.
I don't know about Glasner though, Roberto, because like I said, I looked at the table since January and Palace are 4th from bottom. So
what more does he need to do? He's won.
They're on the slide. No wonder he ran away.
He's a cup manager.
Yeah, but 3 trophies. You can't underestimate 3 trophies. Like incredible.
He's got a good reputation, hasn't he, Glasner? But
let's move on to Leeds. So penalties, you've got here Diarra or Lafay. Free kicks, Xhaka and Lafay. Corners, Xhaka, Lafay. Trig, I'm going to come to you, mate, because you had Lafay in your draft. But you said earlier on in the chat you may be going off of him a bit. So what do you think of him and Sunderland players in general?
When I saw Rob T's graphic, he was like the lowest 6 million projections goals and assists this season, wasn't he? He was like the last one on the table, and there's about 100 names on the table. And he was last. But I mean, it's sort of like Andrew said, it's all about the first 2 fixtures, isn't it?
And they've got good
Which
ones.
Which is why I'm taking him out. I mean, if you're wild carding in game week 4, I think he's great. Same with opposite with Williams, Forest defenders. If you're wild carding early, don't get them because by the time a Coventry fixture comes around, you would have wild carded anyway. But Lafay's good if you're wild carding early, I think. If you're not, then he's not someone you really want in your team long term, I suspect. They've got Europe. Defense. I think that's going to hamper them. I think they're going to come down a bit this season. Yeah, Ballard's interesting, isn't he?
I like it. Yeah,
I like him.
Scored a lot of goals. Broby's been talked about a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, Broby's good. Broby had a really good World Cup, I have to say. Like, I was really surprised that he didn't start the first game, and I was like, that's an interesting move by Koeman. Like, obviously they have a lot of options, up front, but when he played that second game and he scored straight away, I was like, yeah, this guy. And a lot of people were downplaying his impact last season from a sort of output point of view. Because the thing about Robbie is he's a little bit like I'll make a bad comparison here, but Troy Deeney, when he was at Watford, right? He scored goals, but he also did a lot of the ruffling up the centre-backs. And this is exactly what Robbie does. He loves to get in basically an arm wrestle with centre-backs. And so from an FPL point of view, FPL managers were like, we're not getting enough output. We're not getting enough goals or assists. But what he actually then does is enables other Sunderland players to get more goals and assists. So if you've got the double up, like Robbie or Lefay, who've done really well, then that actually might be a good thing if you've got Lefay in your team. So yeah, I think he's going to have a decent season. 6.0 is nice. I think Lefay is nice. Could take pens. So yeah, some nice options to Sunderland, I think.
Lee, you got any thoughts on Sunderland? I'll get the fixtures up while you answer that.
Probably nothing more than what the others have said. I like Ballard. I like Mukiele. It's purely for the first 2 games because they don't look particularly good after that point. I would probably have them more if you're thinking of doing an early wild card. I think I've got 2 of them at the minute. I've got Bobby and Ballard. I feel like I'm just spelling my full team here, but I don't mind. I think they're both good options. I think Diarra will be on pens for the most part, and whether he shares them with Lefay, and I think that's the reason why Lefay's been hit so hard on those kind of prediction models, because I don't think they're expecting him to be on pens. Yeah,
so looking at next 11s, they're second from bottom offensively, and it's a decent 2 fixtures, and they are. But away to Ipswich, 40% chance of scoring. Home to Fulham, 40 to 50. But then Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Man City away, Brighton at home. I don't think it's worth it.
I personally think if you're pre-hitting game week 4, which I think a lot of people will do because of the fact that
or the early
that Arsenal or the wild card, but there's that Arsenal fixture for Sunderland and Chelsea play Hull in game week 4. I think free hit 4 is going to be quite popular. As a result, if you're in that position, let's say you wanted a wild card later, but you wanted Sunderland for the first 3 weeks, because Sunderland-Brentford, I think it's going to be quite an even game. They were quite close in the table last season. So I don't mind playing your Sunderland players against Brentford. So if you want them for the first 3 weeks and then you free hit them out and you just bench them away to Man City, then you get them for Brighton at home. So I don't think they're terrible.
Okay. We're on to our last side, lads. We are doing very well within an hour and 40 minutes, which is pretty much what I suggested it's going to take. So our last side is a very interesting side. There were a lot of drafts early on, but I haven't seen so much recently. So this is obviously Spurs, penalties, Sankey if he's fit, free kicks, Porro, Kudos, corners, Tell and Porro. Trig, Solanke is in review solve at the minute. It was when it came out, it's ideal first team. I can't believe that. It was when it came out and I thought maybe it was broken, but it still blooming is. But Kinski's in a lot of sides. What are your thoughts on Spurs,
it should be a lot more on the front foot, shouldn't they? So Solanke should be, in theory, more attacking. But from what I've seen of him so far in the friendlies is he's plays quite deep a lot of the time. And so it's hard to get too enthusiastic about Solanke at the moment. Tell's been very good, but whether he, if Gakpo turns up, is Tell even going to be in the team? And I guess it's Pedro Porro, isn't it? Van der Ven, I think, has just signed a new contract. So a lot of people thought he was going to be leaving, but he's staying. So now they've got Van Heck, Van der Ven, and Senesi. So who's going to be sitting on the bench? So it makes it difficult for those 3.
Yeah,
Porro's the interesting one, I guess, isn't he? And Kinski's just been announced that he's the number 1, which we kind of knew anyway. But
what do we think
they're an
about
interesting side? They've got Matt Fernandez as well. He's quite interesting.
Yeah.
But,
what do we think about what's his name? Robertson. Do we think he's going to get starts over Udogie?
Spence are trying to get rid of Spence, aren't they? So maybe he will. Yeah, I don't know about Udogie. Is he fit again? Is he?
I could even see a world where they play Van der Ven left back and they play Senesi and Van Heck centre backs too. So he's
That's a possibility too.
That feels a bit risky too.
Is that when Van der Ven was getting his points at the start of last season? Where was he playing when he got all those points? Because he started really well last season, didn't he?
He played in centre back, but he was just running forward a lot, wasn't he? And Darius was always saying he was going to pull his hamstring. And then ended up being converted to Spurs defence.
That's right. Tottenham were the worst team in the world, weren't they, according to Darius at the start of the season? Well, he turned out to be right.
Fair, by the end of the season, he wasn't proof up wrong, was he? Yeah, he did.
This probably sounds a bit mad to say now, but I actually started with triple Spurs defence last season. I had Van der Ven, Romero, and
Do you know what? That wasn't mad, mate.
Well.
In game week 1, they had Burnley at home.
Well. They started well. I think they had 3 clean sheets in the first 5 or something like that.
Yeah, they kept a clean sheet against Man City as well.
Yeah, I do think there may be some bias. I mean, I may have some bias in them because how badly they did last season. But you look at the squad, Tonali, Fernandes, they've strengthened well.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, that team should do well, but we've said this ahead of last season, and they finished the same place they finished the previous season. So, they just have to do the talking on the pitch at the end of the day. These players have to step up and be better.
But it's different now. They've got Thomas Frank and... Oh, wait a minute. That was last season.
Look, I don't think Roberto De Zerbi is a world beater, but he's... The thing with De Zerbi, which I find really interesting, so Watford's manager this season is a guy called Alessio Dionisi. Again, not a clue who he is, but this is the Watford way. He was managing for Sassuolo for a little stage, and he took over from De Zerbi. And De Zerbi is very similar to Dionisi in that he's very front-footed, attacking, progressive. So I do worry a little bit defensively for them. I know that they've signed Van Hecker, and Kinski I think will have a good season. I think he's a no-brainer really for a 4.5. So on paper it should be good, but is the confidence going to be still there in these players? Now, the new players, Tonali and Fernandes, although Fernandes did just get relegated. Tonali, back to back as well. Tonali, he hasn't experienced... I mean, it was not a great season for Newcastle, but at least it's not 17th.
Only 5.5.
Yeah, and Fernandes scored a really good goal in pre-season as well, didn't he? So, I don't know.
Does Tonali have DEFCONs? Is he only doing good if they're DEFCONs? I can't really remember.
Not really, no. He kind of comes across like quite a combative kind of tackling midfielder, but he doesn't get anywhere near as much as you think he does.
No, I think about that's what stops him being an option, I think.
Yeah. Am I the only one that thinks Richarlison is desperately unlucky to not start? Because Solanke, for me, hasn't been a good striker for like 2 years.
Might be selling him, I think, Richarlison.
Yeah, I've heard Everton are interested in him again.
Really? Wow.
That's what I was reading, yeah.
Is that where he came from? It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Watford before that, just saying.
Do you remember the season he got sent off the first game of the season, Richarlison? Going back a while ago now. Everyone was like, he's going to be amazing at Everton. And he got sent off. But their fixtures to Spurs, they're sort of bottom... lower mid-table, shall I say, for both defensive and offensive. This is defensive. Brentford away, Newcastle at home, Nottingham Forest away, Everton at home, Aston Villa at home. You can you don't really have to jump in there straight away, do you? I think you could wait and see.
Yeah. It's a little bit like Brentford, where we said the first few are quite nice, but then after that it gets tougher. Like before that Coventry game, I mean, Everton... I think Everton will fancy themselves against Spurs, but like that could be a score draw. Villa and Man United is tough, and then it's Coventry. So, yeah, could be a wait and see again.
We can't really trust fixture tickers anyway at this time because we just don't know, do we? I mean, home to Newcastle in game week 2 might be a great fixture. You just don't know yet.
You just don't know.
Form can all change, can't it? Yeah. Based on... Well done, lads. We managed to get through all 20 teams in an hour and 50 minutes. It did take us a while. So we may spend a little bit less time on the drafts than we usually would. But of course, me and Trig will be here to go through our drafts at least for the next 2 weeks before the season starts. But here is Trig's current draft. For people listening, he has got... I'll just read... I'm not going to read who he's got playing. I'm just going to read the players per position. He's got Verbruggen and Steele... in goal, he's got Mascara, Gabriel, Neco Williams, O'Shea and Thomas in defence. He's got Gross, Fernandez, Lefay, Wirtz, and Crooks in midfield, and then he's got Calvert-Lewin, Haaland, and João Pedro up front. So yeah, thoughts, Trig? Anything changed after we've just gone through that deep dive?
Lefay's already gone. He's gone.
He's already gone.
Njai might be coming back if he's not going to be leaving, or somebody else. Wirtz and Szoboszlai, toss of a coin, or even going up to Bumo. And Mosquera probably won't stay either, because I've decided I'm not going to wild card early, and he's an eventual transfer. So, there's still 2 weeks to go. Everything's going to change in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Why
these are all pretty solid.
Why cold feet on Enzo, Nick?
What?
Why is there cold feet on Enzo Lefay?
Oh, Lefay. Oh, just because I'm not wildcarding early, and he's only got 2 good fixtures, so I don't want to have to get rid of him.
But you could just bench him in the weeks that he's got bad fixtures, couldn't you?
Well, and play O'Shea.
Yeah, that's the thing. The thing is, the way the team is set up, you've got 2 4.0 defenders, so it's a bit.
Yeah. I think Thomas. Well, you could play Thomas in game week 2. So, but then I want Lefay in game week 2. So Lefay basically is just going to go.
Yeah, the only
I think away at Ipswich. I also don't like that fixture away at Ipswich for Sunderland, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's a great.
Yeah, I don't think the opening 2 are that great.
They lost once at home last season. It's the first game of the season when they're all hyped up. And, I think it's a bad fixture for Sunderland.
They lost once at home last season against championship teams.
I know, but that's just me. I just think it's a good fixture for Ipswich.
Fair enough.
I don't expect you to agree. But I'm
let's get through.
Right.
We will spend a bit more time on our drafts next week, but because we're going through this massive thing today, we wanted to spend a little bit less time on our drafts. And as Trig said, it's still 16 days, isn't it? No, 15 days. 15 days before kickoff. So Roberto's current draft, he's got Kinski in goal, and still Maguire, Mosquera, Ballard, Cadio Guglu, whatever his name is.
Cadioglu.
And Thomas in defence. Semenyo, Fernandez, Szoboszlai, Lefay. Oh, that's why you're asking, Triggy. What when your job?
I should have put all the names that were hard to pronounce in my draft for this one.
Gomez in midfield, and he's got Haaland, Igor, Jesus, and João Pedro up front, man. Talks for it. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I'll be perfectly honest, guys. In all these years I've played FPL, so I started in 18-19. This is the calmest pre-season I've ever had. I think genuinely I made this team about... What's the date today? I think I made it about 5 days ago. I've not touched it. Because I've just not got any issues with it. Like, Kinski, I think, is... never in the history of FPL has a starting goalkeeper for Spurs been 4.5. I just think, like, they have to get better, surely. And, yeah, he's 4.5. So, like, I originally had Raya in, but I just thought, save the money. Might as well invest it in the attack. Maguire, yeah, I like United's fixtures, first 3. I think there could be clean sheets there, and with the DEFCON and potential goal threat. I don't like Shaw as much because of the lack of routes to DEFCON. The same goes for Mosquera, really. It's a toss-up with the Arsenal defender between Mosquera and Calafiori. I like Calafiori, but the only thing I worry about is when Timber is fit, could potentially Timber be moved out? I don't think it will happen, but for reference, let's say they have a lack of defensive options and Ben White plays. Could Timber then get moved out to the left? I don't know. I'm not sure. So I just feel like Mosquera is a little bit.
That did happen last season, didn't it?
Yeah. So I'm a little bit more sure on Mosquera's minutes than Calafiori, because for as long as Saliba is out, I don't see Mosquera not playing. Dan Ballard, I've had probably, I think, since since day one of the game launching, because when I saw those first 2 fixtures for Sunderland, and I thought I need a bit of Sunderland in my team. I had Robbie originally, but then I wasn't so keen on Robbie compared to some of the other 6.0 forwards. And I was like, Dan Ballard, he gets goals, he starts every game, and he's another centre back, more points to DEFCON. And yeah, it's the sort of game I could just picture him getting a bullet header. Then Semenyo, again, he's been in pretty much from the start. 8.5, I think, is a great price. City have got Coventry game week 3, so that could be really nice, the double up. Bruno, I think the reason I'm not going Gabriel is because you can't you can, but I think less people are going to captain Gabriel in the first few weeks compared to Fernandes and Haaland. So that's why I've gone with those two, and then I'll cover the Arsenal defence with Mosquera. I think Bruno is going to be my captain probably game week 2 because it's a home game against Ipswich, and Haaland is usually very strong at home, so that's why I think he's just too good to go without. He starts season so strong, and even with a new manager, like Haaland still just is a machine. So Boslai is the one where I'm like, I could potentially, if Gakpo does go to Spurs, I might switch in Gakpo, but I'll probably leave it for now because I think he probably does stay at Liverpool, Gakpo. But yeah, I think Szoboszlai just for minutes, and Enzo Lefebvre, 6.0 midfielder that could get some penalties. There's a potential for Diarra for Sunderland to take some pens, but I think Lefebvre has shared them before, so that's probably the best we're going to get for a 6.0 mid. Now, of course, there is Pascal Gross, but I've already tripled up on Brighton, and I don't really feel the need to have someone like Gross, who I might be benching, and I don't necessarily know if I want to bench a penalty taker like Gross, whereas Lefebvre has slightly worse fixtures than Brighton, so longer term, I can feel better about benching Lefebvre. And then Igor Jesus, the form he's shown in pre-season, is incredible. Now, Calvert-Lewin, fair play last season, he was incredible too, but I just feel like when a player's in form, and I prefer Forest's fixtures, like a home game against Leeds, hopefully Igor Jesus wins that battle against DCL, and then Pedro, just great fixtures for Chelsea. Don't see me going without him. The Brighton boys are the ones where I've sort of gone different. I really like Brighton's fixtures. I think people are underestimating them, especially for a rotation. Like, Steele is just because he's a 4.0, not because he plays with Brighton. But Gomez particularly, like I've looked at his numbers from last season. He's 5.0 million. Like, I think he's really well priced. Kadioglu was a big hero for me at the end of last season, 4.5, quite attacking. And he's probably the most nailed fullback in the Brighton team because on the other side, FIFA might get the occasional game, but I don't know if Kadioglu is as at risk of maybe switching around. But I think Kadioglu is fairly nailed on, and he's got a bit of attacking threat. And then Thomas, he looks like the best 4.0 Coventry. So, yeah, that's the team.
Roberto, I could just show you this. This is on Next 11. Very good tool for tracking pre-season. You can see that Igor Jesus, 4 goals, which would have got him something along the lines of 8.7 points per 90. But then also you've got João Pedro and Lefebvre as well. Trig is on 3 goals, and so yeah, both doing well in pre-season. I wanted to highlight a quick comment that just came up from Tommy Guns, who I've not seen in a while. I think he ended up finishing 3rd or 4th in our mini league last year, so he must have been in the top 1,000. He's saying blocked from taking on the FPL site at the minute with 4 Coventry and 4 to 5 Arsenal. I have no idea what that means.
He means he's bought players before they changed clubs.
Right. Yeah. So basically, when you get to 4 assets from one team, you have to make a transfer.
I see.
Some people have 4 Coventry players for their bench boost.
Any comments on Roberto's draft? We'll move on.
It looks good, mate. It's one of those teams where I'm not quite sure how you've got the money to kind of fit it all in, which is probably the biggest compliment I can pay. There's obviously things I'd change because it's my opinions, but I think the team looks good.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
Tommy's saying he finished 2K. Very good, mate. Very good.
Tommy,
let's move
2K.
on. 2K. Could be a rapper. Tommy 2K Guns. So Punk's draft is Le Mans. How do I say it? Le Mans in goal and Verbruggen. So you're going. It's a lot of money in goal. Calafiore, Ballard, and Canva in defence, along with Conjure and Thomas, Fernandes, Bruno Fernandes, Ampadu, and Burmo, Anderson, Gross in midfield, Haaland, João Pedro, and Broby up front. assume you're planning early bench boost then, mate, with the amount of money you got on the bench here.
Yeah, I was. I'm still kind of tying up. Like Roberto said, he's kind of calm and he's not made changes. I'm probably methoded the madness, changing it every 16 seconds. I think I've already made changes to this since last night. I've this between Calafiori and Mbeumo. I could do a 5-5 and Gabriel in midfield. Yeah, I still don't know which way I want to go. I just quite like, especially the early rotation between United and Brighton. I think they rotate relatively well. Whether I keep these is probably remains to be seen. It's like it is a lot of money in the goalkeeper position. It's probably more beneficial to get more money out onto the starting players I've got, and like it might be Verbruggen and Steele, and just kind of stick with that. It could be Kinski and Dubravka. I don't really know right now. Probably the similar but opposite to what Roberto said about Mosquera. I feel more confident in Calafiori. I just don't really rate Mosquera as a central defender, and I probably see it more with Ben White and Timber, as Ben White pushes inside and Timber plays right back, because he was a centre back for Brighton in his past life. So I thought that could be an option there. Yeah, Ballard's been pretty much locked for me. I think Campbell's good for Defcons. Any chance I can get for Man United attack, I'm always in there. So I don't see me moving off Bruno and Mbeumo. I think that's part bias, and it gives me something to kind of cheer alongside the team as well. Ampadu solid for Defcons. Anderson's is going to be good for Defcons. I was slightly worried when he went I think we saw for England that he was still good for Defcons from that point of view. So I'm not too concerned, especially because they commit a lot of men forward. Could he be the man standing back and getting those interceptions and recoveries and stuff? And that 6 million forward spot can change for me. And then last one, Konza, he's purely in there because I think he might go Arsenal. I did see rumours that Arsenal put a bid in, and I think who put the chat in about the 4-5 Arsenal. I'm guessing they've got 3 Arsenal plus Bruno G and Konza. Is that right? That's a question to Tommy Guns.
Okay. Do you think Konza is actually going to go there though?
Not sure. I think he's class. I think he's quality. I think he's good enough to play for one of them top 4 teams. Whether he does,
just looking at the news, they're putting the 60 million bid in for him today. Yeah. I think.
I saw some stuff about Arsenal because they're trying to get a centre back basically. So this is the only thing. If centre back comes in, then I'll just go Calafiori. That's the thing. One thing I was looking at, I don't know if it's fake, but I saw a thing pop up of they're looking at Romero. I was like, there's no way, surely not. They couldn't do that.
Arsenal?
That's
nuts. Did you read that on one of those dodgy news sites?
Well, it came from the Athletic, so I was like, they're usually quite reliable. The Athletic.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a Daily Star sort of headline.
I know. I was like, what?
Craig, any comments on Punk's draft Leeds draft before we?
No, it looks good.
Some differentials in there, haven't you? Well,
yeah.
In theory,
Bumo could be very good, I think.
What do we think about Anderson though? Because surely at City won't he have less defensive contributions?
Well, we don't know that for sure. Rodri got quite a few, didn't he?
Let's part that conversation because I've also got him in my draft. And you can see my draft has the lovely graphics of next 11 there, which Nightmare's been using for a while. So I've got Bruggen and Petrovic in goal, back 5. Sorry, not back 5, but defenders are Gabriel, Maguire, Neco Williams, O'Shea, and Chow. Midfield, Elliot Anderson, Gross, Bruno Fernandes, Szoboszlai, and Tavernier. Although I think I'm going to take Tavernier out now. And I'll probably also take out one of my front 3, which is Muniz. Instead of Muniz, I think McBurney, based on what we talked about tonight. And then Haaland and Calvert-Lewin. Craig, I always come to you first for thoughts on my draft, my friend. I have changed it around a bit after you said that last week. I have taken your advice and, got a few players in there to make a potential bench boost. Do you know what I mean? Without locking into it.
What do you think? No, it looks good. I mean, it's all all fantasy worthy players. In fact, this season, I don't think I've seen any drafts where people are choosing dodgy players. Everyone seems to have learned. It's a bit of a worry because everyone knows how to play now, don't they? And they've just got so many things to press buttons on and stuff that everybody's got a decent looking team.
Did you see the official FPL? They've launched a thing going into this season where you can actually win a prize for playing FPL.
What do you mean?
So you get entered into a league automatically for just playing FPL, and if you win the league, you get a prize.
Ah, well, it's called the overall rank, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's got to a stage where just playing this game, we're rewarded. So yeah, it's easy game this one.
The other interesting thing was the auto team. So when you join FPL, there's an auto team that actually help you select this season. So even the people that have just come on and picked an auto team, even their auto teams are going to be a lot better this season.
Why is that? Because it's put like some AI into the
it's got some AI thing helping you choose you. Yeah.
I did remember when I clicked my auto team, it did look better than usual. When you click it before the get the decent number.
Just to put any old rubbish in, didn't it?
Yeah. Roberto, Lee, any thoughts on my draft? Yeah, I've got I'm a little bit, so the players I'm not, there's lots of players I'm not sure about. It's Anderson, because I am concerned about the DEFCONs. Probably Meniz and switch him out for McBurney, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with it. Maybe Tavernier almost certainly would go to Njai if he stays. But otherwise I'm pretty happy with it. The thing is, Trig, I have sort of got this sorted out for a potential bench boost, but there isn't really any week. I've gone through like the first 5 or 6 weeks. There isn't really any week where I've got good fixtures. You know what I mean?
Well, you could put the Coventry ones on your bench,
Yeah,
maybe.
But the thing is,
just like 3 of them on your bench.
I think what you need in this team, Gary, is a bit of funds to improve Muniz. So what I would say is, if you wanted to take all of the funds from your bench and put it into Muniz, if that makes sense, then that might then mean it makes, just to have a stronger front line, makes more sense to have a weaker bench, if that makes sense, just to improve your 11 with Muniz.
Yeah, but that's exactly the opposite. That's what I had last week, and then Trig said if you want to be able to bench boost, you want to have
but that's the thing. Do you want to bench
far
boost?
too much money on that bench, regardless of whether you're bench boosting or not. You wouldn't put that much money on your bench unless you knew for sure you were bench boosting.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just a complete waste.
Yeah. 100%. Like, if you don't want to bench boost,
you're wasting like about 2 million on your bench over what you could have. Just stick change of the Coventry players and bench boost in game week 2 and you're sorted. And you can also
at
the same time.
But then I've got those Coventry players stuck on my bench until a wild card. And I don't want to be forced into an early wild card. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you won't because they'll just be on your bench the whole time. I mean, Thomas can play. I mean, he can get DEFCONs. So you've got him on your bench. You're all playing players, aren't they?
Have you actually looked, Gary, at other weeks that you could bench boost, and do you prefer them?
I've scanned through with this team, and there's not a great week to bench boost, not at least in the first. There's no point looking beyond the first 6, is there?
You're quite a safe manager, aren't you, Gary? You care about ownership and all that sort of thing. So the safe play is to bench boost in game week 2, because I reckon half the people that you're competing against are going to do it. You wait till you see Nightmares League. All the engaged managers are all going to do it in game week 2. And if they keep a clean sheet in game week 2, they're all going to get like 20, 30 points on their bench boost.
The thing I'm seeing, though,
by not doing it, you are exposing yourself to being a bit
risk.
Different from other people. So
the thing I am seeing is a lot of content creators
not playing it.
I'm seeing a lot of content creators push the game week 2 bench boost, but I think those that aren't on Twitter probably won't know about the game week 2 bench boost, if that makes sense.
No, but you're not competing against them, Mo.
But my point is, in the Twitter is only a small proportion of the people we're playing against.
But it's the people that do well on Twitter.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about
people watching this now.
You don't have to worry about the other 13 million what they're doing. You only have to worry about the 500,000 on Twitter.
Yeah,
so,
I just think patience. I wouldn't like hate the bench boost game week 2 if we knew, like, let's say if it was an example, right? Sunderland were the team that were a home to Hull game week 2. I would 100% do it. But because it's a team that haven't been in the Premier League for 25 years, like, we just don't know how good Coventry will be. And the first game against Arsenal away, we're not going to really get a good indication of how good Coventry's defence is.
The good thing is, though, like Gary said, you can put minimum funds on your bench and still play the bench boost for Coventry. Whereas if it was Sunderland, you'd have to actually spend a lot of money on those players. Coventry, the advantage is you don't. And I think they're the 4th most likely team in game week 2 to keep a clean sheet. So I can see why everyone's doing it. It makes a lot of sense. I'm not doing it, I think. I don't know yet for certain. But it does make sense. If it grows and grows and if it snowballs and like everyone's doing it, then I might do it just because everyone else is doing it.
I can categorically say I'm not going to do it.
I mean, I've just got into the stage now because, you know, lads, I know from the podcast chat, I didn't really mess around with the draft, but preparing for this podcast today, I am now at the stage of I'm switching around every day. I'm logging in and I've been watching all the content again. But
it would not surprise me if that whole Coventry game was like a 1-1, both teams score. Honestly,
yeah, of course not. But I mean, you can say that in any match.
But the thing is, you would be less likely for that to happen in defenses that you trusted more than Coventry City. That's the point I'm making.
Well, the odds suggests that in game week 2 they're right up there. No, I think it's only about 35% now. So
next
like,
11
odds on you aren't going to get a clean sheet.
Do you think that's going to be the game though, that across the whole season of the calendar of fixtures for the whole city, that they're going to go all out attack in the most?
It's probably the one they've got the most chance of winning, isn't it? Or like at least early on.
They might play like 4 up front.
Lads,
I don't think they'll be playing silly, but they'll be looking for their first point, won't they? So,
lads, we're going for 2 hours, 11 minutes, which I think officially, apart from end of season reviews, makes this the longest podcast of all time. So I'll just go for a few plugs and then ask you guys where I can find you. So yeah, massive thanks again for Next 11, all those great fixture ticker, the player comparison tools, all that great stuff you can find there. Please do check them out. It helps the channel out as well by clicking on the link in the description. It's free to use, and if you sign up, you'll get 25% off as a discount if you use that code. Yes, so very excited this weekend. I wasn't going to do a lock-in again until the season started because obviously the lock-in is usually the Saturday night stream where we react to the games, but FPL Nightmare couldn't make a podcast pre-season and I wanted to get everyone on the channel on. So on Saturday at 8 o'clock, myself, Darius, FPL D Unit, Kanji, and FPL Night will be joining us. And we're basically just going to do a Q&A and look at our drafts. This was a very, very planned stream. That one is going to be a completely open stream. And were you on with us last time, Roberta, when Nightmare came
on? When was it again?
Lock-in. No, because you weren't actually. You didn't join that one. You joined Lock-in towards the end of the season, but it wasn't that
I honestly can't remember anything about last season.
It was a great laugh anyway. It was a great laugh. That's going to be... This stream was hopefully full of like insight and discussion. That stream is just going to be full of random craziness probably. And please do like and subscribe if you are new around here. Gents, as always, I'll go through. Thank you. And also probably the biggest thanks I should give is to Lee for preparing all those amazing slides that we whipped. So please give Lee some love in the chat. But
I did make a few errors. Apologies.
No, we're all human, Lee. Come on.
Mate, if I'd have done that, it would have been... I'd have given up halfway through, to be honest. But Lee, you made all those things. First of all, how was your first... Obviously, you've been on 3 times before, but your first podcast debut, you know, you were on the Roberto, so I know sometimes it's hard to get a word in edgeways, but did you enjoy it, mate? And where can we find you, my friend?
You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, FPL Punk. I'm trying to get back into making content. Since the birth of my son, I've kind of taken a little step back, but I'm trying to do a little bit more. No, it was really good fun. It's always useful to talk to people about football and stuff, and especially Roberto getting like getting his opinion on the newly promoted teams. Like I thought there was maybe more options in some of the teams, and it's kind of put me off. And maybe I need to start looking at some other players from from some other teams. Like, am I not giving enough respect to someone like Semenyo, or have I got too much money here, too much money there? So, what did Colm say? We sold Iwobi to Hull. Yeah, I know. It's like Football Manager, isn't it? But no, it's been good fun.
It's been great. Great. I'd say a great debut as the manager of the team. You know, great debut, my friend. Great debut, son. You know what I mean? You, Roberto, my young friend. We're not going to see you again until the season starts because you're off on holiday, aren't you? But where can we find you, my friend?
Yeah, so on Twitter, I doubt my team will change that much, but you know what FPL is like. There's always chaos into the deadline, so we'll see when I literally get back from holiday the day before the deadline. So it will all be just tinkering on that final game week deadline day. But yeah, on Twitter you can follow me at RobertoHollis9, and occasionally I'll post the odd FPL video on my YouTube, but it's quite rare because I'm quite busy a lot of the time. But if I'm not posting on there, I'm most likely going to be on here, most likely. So at FPL Yellow Army on Twitter and on YouTube.
The former ghost, and do go and give Roberto a follow on Twitter because I know he got very excited. He hit 3.5 K followers the other day.
I wish it was 3.5. It was 2.8, but yeah, close enough.
2.8. All right, brilliant, brilliant. You know, you'll love it. Thank you very much, Ticky Time, for the two jewels. Again, I need to figure out what the jewels actually mean, but it's very much appreciated. Thank you, my friend. And of course, Trig, where can we find you? And how is the marathon you're going through of trying to make an FPL video every day?
Yeah, Trig Talks FPL. It's going very well. I ran out of steam yesterday, so I had to do a video on Chelsea tactics. It only lasted 9 minutes, but it still counts as a daily video. So
it does, mate. It does.
Nobody's commented on it hardly, so they're obviously not the best one. But doing them every day is proving tricky now because not much is changing, is it? I've done all the chip strategy ones and all of that sort of thing. So now it's getting a bit harder to find stuff to talk about.
I listened to the one you did on, when did I go out one night? Tuesday, when you were talking about all the transfers and that. I thought that one was really good. It was like it was a bit like, I don't know, Talk Sport for FPL.
The chit chat one, just going through the Sky Sports live feed. I'm going to do a few more of those, I think. Just talk about what comes up on the screen. Because, there's not much of that about, is there? Like just general chit chat FPL stuff.
Not on a daily basis, anyway.
Because I think people are sick of first drafts and second drafts.
I did have one question though, guys, before I go. Is anyone in the chat, if they are in the chat, or I don't know if I might have already asked this, Gary, so apologies if I have. Are you going to Fest this season?
Probably not, mate. I haven't decided 100%. If I do, it'll be on a Saturday.
Okay, yeah, because I'm going to go on the Saturday. So
you're not going on Friday?
2 days. 2 days now, is it?
Yeah, they've extended it, which for me is a good idea.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's a really good idea because it's like it gives you the option of not watching games but being stressed about transfers, or not being stressed about transfers and doing it at your own home and then watching the games the next day. It's nice.
Because last year when I went, Roberto went, where everyone said to me, look in your team before you leave the house. And I left the house about 3 o'clock. I met Roberto and we had a couple of games of pool and stuff before the game. Roberto, every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was so much more stressed ahead of game week 1 last season than I am this season, for sure. Yeah,
that's good. I think it's because you chilled out a bit. Yeah, so I may be going. on the Saturday.
Nice.
But yes, they're doing a few things. Trig's not flying over from New Zealand, though. I don't think.
I won't be turning up.
There are a few people that come from far though. Like there's some people that come from like Canada, Australia, like.
Well, I saw Lynn. That was where I met Lynn last year. She flew over from Sweden before she disappeared off the face of the planet.
Yeah, no, it's always a good occasion. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And it'll be a bit different. Like usually you watch it, you know, you don't really have the time to even like chat to people really, or like take photos and play pool because you're just making transfers. But it'll be nice to be relaxed, not have to think about the FPL and just watch the football on the Saturday. So
Claire saying that she's going to Fest on Saturday. I didn't see point of going Friday this year with the late game Arsenal. And I met Claire at last year's Fest. So if I don't go, Claire, you will certainly be the thing that I miss the most. But anyway, let's wrap up, guys. So please do join us for the lock-in on Saturday. Me and Trig are going to be here next Thursday night to do a podcast. I don't know if anyone else will be with us yet. Thank you for listening to us for the. As I say, apart from the FPL, the end of season review, our longest ever stream. I'll see you on Saturday. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.